Hey, that's it. We are live. Today is Sunday, the 25th of November, 2018. We have a few more adding to the panel as the evening goes on. Bling bling. DITRH should be joining us to say hello. On the panel so far is Flat Earth Dude Kenny. We have Joe, Hill, and Alex. A conspiracy music guru.
It's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me on. Always an honor, always a pleasure. Looking forward to the show. Hello, everybody in the chat. Where do you want to start?
Hey, Alex. How was your gig experience?
Oh, my God. Where do I start? I'll give you, well, it was exhausting for a start, but it was also one of the most amazing things I've ever done in my life. It was right up there with my wedding day. I don't know how my wife would feel about me saying that, but it was certainly an experience I will never, ever forget. A real assault on the senses. I mean, the jet lag and the altitude sickness, I was just sort of kind of walking around in a daze for about, 8 days. And, add to that the stresses of, performing and trying to remember the lyrics and I was doing some sound checks as well, and that wasn't going too well. I'm getting more and more stressed. But thankfully on the night, it went all right on the night, and I was just so well received that the place went absolutely crazy. Everybody gave me an encore, a standing ovation. I had to go back and do an encore. It was just amazing. And I realized how much the music is resonating with people, across all over the world. And as soon as I got there on the sort of Tuesday, people were pulling me aside for selfies. I mean, I'm quite a recluse person. I love my privacy, and I make all the music in my little studio in my little villa in Spain, and I get to see the comments on my videos, but you don't really see how it resonates with people, because comments can be quite static, can't they? And but people were just, their faces were lighting up. They were cuddling me. They were taking selfies. I was signing CDs after the gig for about an hour. I must have signed 100 CDs. I must have taken 100 selfies. It was just person. And like you said before off air, that just like, you were talking about, the other guy, Rich. You couldn't eat his dinner alone, because people were just coming up. It was just like, wow. It was difficult in that respect.
Isn't it, when people sort of go, they say your name, and you look up and you think, who the hell, who's that? Because you don't know them, and they go, but I know you, and things like that. It's like, wow, it's a bit weird, isn't it?
Very, very strange. People were asking me all sorts of questions that you wouldn't normally ask a stranger, but because they feel they know me. Hey, Flat Earth man, how you doing? So where you from? You wouldn't go into an elevator with someone and say, hey, man, where are you from? It's just, that's just not the English way, is it? You just want to start asking people intrusive questions. It's like saying, hey, where'd you buy your jacket from? I like them shoes. Where'd you get them from? Hey, man, it's nice. It's just gone really, really strange. But they obviously feel they know me because of the work that I've done musically. But so that was a little tough. Just as I said, it was an assault on the senses. But what an amazing week. I mean, just to be surrounded by all of those like-minded people, not being judged, able to speak freely. I mean, I can honestly say I met some real soulmates there. It was just, I'm still buzzing from it, really, and almost a little bit depressed that I'm not there, because some of the people I met were just so outstanding. And, the welcome that I got was just incredible. And the music is clearly opening minds up. And, people have said, oh, I use your music to educate my kids. And, I didn't know that the music was being used as a learning tool for people's children. So that was really opening my eyes. So the whole thing was just, absolutely incredible. The gig went down so well. There's some footage of it online, just sort of shaky mobile phone footage if anybody wants to check it out. But I will be making a video of my experience in the coming weeks, because I didn't stop recording while I was there. But, just so much to tell you, but I don't really know where to start. I'm still buzzing from it. No, it was just incredible.
Can I just say, Patricia's joined the hangout. Hi, Patricia.
Hi, Patricia.
Patricia. Hello, my darling.
Oh, darling. Hey, how was the flight over and going through customs? And what airline did you fly?
This is one of the reasons why I won't do it again. The flights alone are just a real pain, because the flight from London to Denver was like 10 hours, and being in a tin can for 10 hours is not like, I don't like flying anyway.
Right.
I guess it went a little bit quicker being a flat earther this time, because I was transfixed on the screen in front of me that shows your journey, your live journey, which of course made no sense on a globe. How about that?
Shows that bendy journey.
Sorry?
The bendy journey.
Yeah, the bendy journey. Yeah. Oh, it bends because you're going around the globe, of course. No, absolute nonsense. And I will be putting that in a video. But
so
yeah,
where were they showing you were flying then, Alex? If you could see it.
We went from London, we went north up to London, we went up to Greenland. So we just hit Greenland and then we curved back down to America. Now, which makes no sense on a globe, but if you look at the AE map, it's a straight line, of course. I'll put that on the video as well, because I took a load of photographs of the screen in front of me and it just didn't make any sense. So the journey went a lot quicker because I was looking out the window a lot and looking at the screen and analyzing everything that was around me. So the journey wasn't too bad. But yeah, the customs and the TSA, coming back, the TSA pulled my wife into a separate room because, she had a zipper around her groin that went off. So they took her off in a separate room and shut the door with one of those key locks, and I couldn't get in. I didn't know what was going on. So that really pissed me off. And just being completely exhausted. That's what I remember, going there and coming back, just being absolutely exhausted with the whole thing. I did
say to you before we went live, because obviously I was talking to Alex, and first of all it was through asking if he'd come on a hangout maybe about 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks before, and you were going, no, I need to concentrate, no, I've just got to get this absolutely ready. So this was a really big thing for you.
It was. It's one of the biggest things I've ever done in my life musically. I mean, certainly the biggest audience I've played to. You know, I'm used to playing in front of, 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 people, 200 max, and that's in a bar or in a club where everyone's drunk or half of them are watching the match on the football. So no one's paying attention. But here I've got 600 people all waiting for me. And it
was filmed.
And being filmed. Yeah, I had the press all filming it. And I had all eyes were on me. So I made a couple of mistakes, and halfway through the set, my voice started croaking as well, because when you're up there, you have to really project your voice. And not only doing that, but you're doing it in a different accent as well. So the strain on my voice started to show on the sort of the third or the fourth song. But thankfully, the last song was kind of a slow number that went down so well. And that's when I got a standing ovation and I had to come back and do an encore. So, it was the biggest thing I've ever done. But also one of the most exhausting things I've ever done. And for that reason, I probably wouldn't go back to the States to do another Flat Earth conference. If there's one in Europe, absolutely, it'll be less of a strain. But, I'm pushing 50 now, and doing that for a week was just, oh, man. I came back absolutely exhausted. And like I said, ulcers on my tongue and cold sores around my mouth and, waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning and all of that kind of, it's a real attack on the body.
Yeah, you sounded good, though, playing.
Oh, thanks.
Just to mention that Joe met Alex and Alex met Joe, didn't you?
Yes. That was awesome. Got a free CD from him too.
Yeah, everyone got a free CD as well. A lot of people was really thankful for that. That was a nice little touch. I'm glad I did that. And
we went live, Alex, that's a really nice thing of you to do out of your own pocket, is to give everybody a free CD.
Yeah, I mean, let me just clarify that. I mean, Robbie Davidson said, like, I'll get them all printed up for you. If you want, we can set up a little booth and you can sell them. And he said, why don't you give them away? Because that would really sort of, be the right thing, right? I mean, I could have set up a stall there and sold, 500 CDs for $10 each or whatever and sign them, et cetera, et cetera. Could have made a couple of $1,000 and paid for my airfare. But the right thing to do, because I'm passionate about the FE message and the music, and especially, when parents are coming up to me and saying, we'll use your music, for learning. I mean, how can I charge for that? I mean, if I was completely and utterly broke, it might have been a different story. But, I've got a little business on the side. I do okay. I'm not doing this for the money. If I was absolutely broke, it might have been a different story. But the right thing to do was to give away the CDs. And you should have seen the look on some of the people's faces, especially a little kid. He got his CD. He was like, oh, wow, thank you so much. His little face lit up. And it was like, oh, that's why you got to do those things. It's the right thing to do.
No, that was me, Alex. The little kid. Thank you. It was awesome.
That's funny. So was the weather change? Was the weather? I mean, it's cold in Denver compared to Spain, man. But was that a little shocking to you?
Yeah, it was a little bit. I mean, when we got there, it was -3, and we'd left 20 degrees Celsius in Spain, so it was still sunbathing weather, really. But they say in Denver, if you want the weather to change, just wait a while. And that's so true, because the next day it was 14 degrees and sunny, and you could feel the heat on your face. It's because that city is a mile-high city, and the weather just changes drastically from day to day. So yeah, that was a bit of a shock as well.
Awesome. I see you got a few signatures on your guitar, man. Who signed your guitar?
Oh, let's go through that. Yeah.
Yeah, Astral in the chat room was asking about that.
Right, well, we got Bob Nodell from Globebusters. We got Jeronism, who wrote on there, that's suspicious, don't you think? Which is quite funny. We've got Mr. Fried and Survive there. We've got Nathan Thompson from the official Globe, Flat Earth and Globe discussion group. We've got Nate Wolf. We've got Paul on the Plane. We've got Iru Landucci, DITRH, David Weiss, Rob Skiba. Who's that? David Marsh, Marty Leeds. Who's that? Oh, Robbie Davison, Celebrate Truth. ODD signed it. Rick Hummer. Who's that? Who else? Oh my God.
Beautiful. That's so
allegedly,
cool.
Yeah, allegedly Dave. Yeah, we got them all on there, man.
Officially a Flat Earth guitar now, man.
Yeah, I mean, that is, what I did is I painted it before I went over there. I took it to pieces and painted it white. I thought I'm going to get everybody's signature. So when I come back, I can hang it on the wall, and that could be a real souvenir. Of my journey there, and it certainly is. I mean, I just look at that and think, wow, look at that. You know, everybody that you know in Flat Earth is you know, most of them are on there. I mean, there's still plenty of room for more. Don't get me wrong.
All right, we get Karen to sign it for sure.
You'll have to come to Spain for that.
Yeah,
you have to go to Spain, Karen. Oh,
yeah. Alex, when you were there, were people really shocked that you were English?
Oh my God, they thought I was Australian. Everybody thought I was Australian.
I did originally, I must admit. The first time I thought, oh, there's an Australian doing a song. And then when you spoke, I heard you speak, I was like, wow, he's English.
So many people were shocked at that because there was so many people. I thought everybody knew it was a character and everybody knew I was English. But as soon as I opened my mouth, people said, oh, right, you're Australian. I said, no, I'm from the UK. They went, oh, that was quite similar. I said, well, no, it's not. Geographically, it couldn't be further apart. And, you know, I think personally an Australian accent is very different to an English accent. But for some reason, American people just can't differentiate, which is very strange to me. So I got that a lot, you know. And you heard about Logan Paul, who was the surprise celebrity. I was walking down the hall and he recognized me. I had no idea who he was. And he said, dude, can I get an interview? I said, yeah, sure. And I just thought it was some guy with a camera. I had no idea who he was. And I started talking to him, and I've posted this video on Facebook. And he said, oh, you've got an accent. I said, yeah. I said, my character kind of talks like that. And he went, oh, and he just started leaping around going, oh, my God, it's all a facade. It's all a facade. So, yeah, a lot of people were very shocked about that. I mean, I'm obviously very open about it. It's not something I hide. But I guess people, it just goes to show how easy it is to fool people, I suppose.
I saw, and maybe also with the reception for you, because you made a little trailer and you had yourself on the stage with everybody clapping and everything. So maybe that's what they were going to do when they saw you. Yay! Did they whistle and things?
There's another little to go a little bit deeper with this. You know, that video, Space is Fake, it starts with me on stage and everybody going crazy. Well, that happened while I was at the conference. You know, I was on stage and everybody was going crazy. That's one thing. You could call that a coincidence. But in my other video, I don't want to talk about NASA. There's a scene in that where I'm on stage at a karaoke bar with a television screen to my left-hand side, and I'm singing, I don't want to talk about NASA. Well, the funny thing is, the Saturday after the conference, we all went to this bar in Colorado, in downtown Denver, and the bar is filled with all these people, and I'm on stage singing karaoke with a screen to the left of me, singing, I don't want to talk about, with everybody singing along. So did I manifest my own reality there? I mean, that's a deep thing to think about, but it just seemed very, very strange that I'd put that in my video 6 months ago. So many people had seen it, and here I am reenacting that exact scene in a bar in America, singing karaoke to my own song. Very strange.
I love that. That's
Wow.
great.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah. Well, I
Someone
watched
take a picture of the live one, it actually happening. Have you got a picture of you actually singing with the screen next to you?
Yeah, I've got video and everything of that. So when I make a video, I'm going to point that out. I remember watching a video a couple of years ago of a guy talking about manifesting your own reality. And this guy happened to work for Marvel Comics. And what he did is he wrote himself into the story of Marvel Comics. And the character looked exactly like him and dressed exactly like him. And this character, he had an accident in the book, in the comic. And him in real life actually had an accident, the exact same accident where his lungs were crushed and he was in hospital and on life support. Exactly the same thing happened. So he thought, right, well, maybe it's the collective consciousness looking at this magazine and it manifesting his reality. So he thought, well, what I'll do is I'll write a really nice storyline for my character where he meets a lovely red-headed young woman and falls in love and gets married. So he wrote that into the comic. And sure enough, he meets a lovely, long-haired, red-headed, beautiful woman and gets married and falls in love and gets married. So he's like, he's talking about, the collective consciousness focusing on this particular character and it happening to him in real life. I just think I don't believe in coincidence. I just think it's very, very strange and peculiar that I put this video out with a particular scene of me singing karaoke in a bar and then it happened to me 6 months later. Very strange.
You better start writing some lyrics.
Well, if that's how it works, if that's how it works, if we can manifest our own reality by putting something out there in the public consciousness and getting everybody to concentrate on what you've written or what you've, visualized, like you say, maybe whatever I want, I don't know what I want. I'm pretty happy in my life, but maybe I should put that into a video and see what happens because that's very peculiar to me.
First thing you got to do is get rich. You get rich in your video.
Well, I'm already rich. I mean, I'm not talking financially here. I'm a very, very lucky man. I've got a nice house. I've got a nice woman. I'm very, very peaceful in my life at the moment. So,
exactly.
But if it's strange to think that if I made a scene with money raining down on me sitting in a bathtub full of money, you don't know what's going to happen in 6 months' time, do you? It's just peculiar. Very, very strange.
Well, then, everybody do a video of you in a bath with loads of gold.
Yeah, but you've got to get those eyes on it. You've got to get the public consciousness on it, for it to manifest, in a positive way. And I think that video has been seen by, a good few 100,000 people. So it's when you have the eyes, just like the guy with the comic, it's a Marvel comic at the end of the day, which, has thousands and thousands, probably millions of viewers, all concentrating and putting their energy into this fictitious character. And it came to life. And it did with me. So it's a deep... Yeah, it's definitely a deep thing to think about. But anyway, it's just an experience that had me going,
Were you a bit nervous when you actually sort of had to stand up there and suddenly there's all those people, or did you not do that? Because the best thing is actually not to look at anybody, isn't it? It's just to get on.
Well, thankfully, I couldn't see anybody because there were these blinding lights in front of me and you could only see the two tables in front of you. So that was, that was quite favourable. But yeah, I was pretty nervous up there. A lot of people said, "Oh, you look so relaxed up there," but it's quite a thing to be up there and playing and have all these eyes watching and listening to every note. And it's because you don't. I didn't certainly flow into it and just forget, just go into a musical thing. I was very, very conscious all the way through that there were 600 people looking at me. It didn't take my mind off it for 1 second. So. I don't know. It was very, very nerve-wracking, but thankfully, it seems I pulled it off.
Not to mention that you're doing a concert at a flat Earth conference. Like, to me, that seems like the world would kind of be looking at that. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, that's it. You've not just got the eyes of the people that are in the room. You've got the press there, and there was a lot of press attention there. Yeah, I
was going to ask you about the press. You probably got interviewed a lot, yeah?
I didn't get interviewed by the mainstream press. I mainly got interviewed by sort of YouTube channels. The biggest interview I did was Logan Paul, I guess, because he's got a combined reach of about 50 million. He's got 19 million subscribers on YouTube. He's got Instagram and Facebook combined. Robbie was telling me he's got a reach of about 50 million. Right. I had no idea who this guy is, but apparently he's very popular with teenagers. So I guess in terms of reach, that would be the biggest interview I did. But yeah, there was a few little independent reporters and YouTube channels, putting cameras in my faces and putting a mic in front of me and that, which I was glad to do,
So who were you surprised to meet? I mean, you met a lot of amazing people, obviously, but there's somebody probably stuck out to you and it's like, dude, we're buddies, we're bros.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, there was 2 or 3 people that I really connected with there. And those 2 or 3 people would have been David Weiss, is because we're very, very spookily similar. We're kind of, it's proof that the body gets old and the mind never does. You know, me and him, I'm sort of 47. I think he's in his 50s, and we both act like children around each other. We're digging at each other, and in the bar, we was having a good drink, and he's lifting me up, and he's flat smacking me, putting flat earth stickers all over my back. And we're just kidding around all the time. So I really hit it off with him. Rick Hummer is another one who just really blew me away. Such a great guy. Really, really funny, very talented, which I had no idea. I mean, he does characters and things and voices and that, and he's just a really great guy. He's just a real man's man, you know, like where you could just be yourself. Really connected with him. Bob from Globebusters as well. He took us out on the last day, and he took me into downtown Denver and took me to a guitar shop, and I ended up buying a lovely guitar to bring home with me as well. And he's been a huge supporter of my work for the last year or so, always playing my songs on Globebusters. Irulan Ducci, another guy who's just, I just want to cuddle him. He's just such a lovely man. So there's probably more, and if I'm forgetting you, I do apologize.
What about Paul on the Plane?
Yeah, Paul on the Plane, I met him, but I didn't really sit down and have a long discussion with him. There's so many, you got to understand, there's 600 flat earthers there. There's just so many, just a real assault. And I got to spend, a few minutes with him, but he's a lovely guy, and I actually signed a CD for him as well. There's so many.
I got to talk to you about David Weiss, going into a bar with David Weiss. I actually got to do that one time, and we left the bar, man, and it was a complete flat earth bar. There was flat earth stickers everywhere, flat earth everywhere. I mean, they were in the pictures, in the bathroom. That guy was flat smacking everyone, right?
He is relentless. There's a funny story. I was staying in this hotel on the 3rd floor. I think he was on the 3rd floor as well. And I got in the elevator and I came up. As soon as the doors opened, I looked all the way along the corridor. You know that every door has those card slots in it to open your door. Well, he put the flat earth card in every single door along that hallway. He probably did all the floors as well, knowing Dave. But he was flat smacking non-stop. And he's got a hashtag, isn't he? ABFS, always be flat smacking. And he does everywhere he goes. If there was an award for the best flat smacker of the year, he'd get it,
No question, man.
That's awesome.
He's so funny, man. And I'm sure he was buying you a bunch of drinks, too. He's buying everybody drinks, by the way.
And he'll be coming on shortly.
Yeah, well, I can't comment on that, obviously. But, yeah.
No.
I don't think I bought a drink the whole time I was there. Actually, I did pick up a couple of tabs, actually, but that's another story. But, yeah, just wonderful people there. Resonated. I think I met a few soulmates there. It's such a shame that they live so far away.
There he is.
Speaking of
what's up, ladies and gentlemen?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, guys.
Hello, David.
Almost everything he's saying is absolutely true. Amazing experience. It's really undescribable how being with, as Jamie Lee put it, who was there from A Plain Truth, it's like your new spirit family, right? Because I went out on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, which is a big night to go out in town here, and you see everybody's back in town, and there was a band playing, and I kind of went up on the balcony and looking down on the crowd, and the energy was just so different than what we experienced being together with all of these like-minded, awake people. It was really depressing, actually. Just all of these sleeping people thinking that they're awake. I don't know how else to put it.
It's supernatural. That's what I say.
Yeah. Hey, Joe,
Yeah,
I'm
they think
calling.
they're awake, and they think they know it all, and they don't know anything. They don't know the truth.
Just looking over all of these people that really have no idea what's going on in the world and don't even know that there's a question. It's tougher and tougher to deal with on a daily basis, especially after coming off a 4-day gathering like this was. Alex, you agree?
I agree with that for sure. I drove down to there from Minnesota down to Denver, and when I'm leaving, I'm just like, I don't want to be leaving. But it's a profound thing. Like, words don't do so well to describe it, I think.
Did you meet David Wise then, Joe?
Yes, I did. I was actually briefly. I think I only saw it, well, maybe twice or something.
Yeah, it was really, there was so many people, everybody wanted to talk to everybody. And I met half of the people there, and the other half just there wasn't time. But I tried to talk to everybody, and it just every time you turn around, just like Alex was saying, there's somebody else, you know, with something else to say. And the beautiful thing was everybody that had anything to say was good. It was all good. There was no trolls there, or or internet warriors. Just people speaking their minds, and it was truly amazing.
Very positive, I thought. Like, I was very, very happy just being there.
Yeah, Jamie, everyone know who Jamie Lee is from A Plain Truth. The guy's a warrior, truth warrior out there, flat earth to the California fires, which he actually, I believe he lost his home. He years ago, he called Patricia Steer and myself out as being shills. And, he never met us, never heard anything. But it didn't make me stop liking his content. It's just like, hey, he doesn't get everything right. We met for the first time there, and it's like, he now gets it. He pretty much said he was sorry, and I'm like, it's forgotten. And boom, we move on, and life is good. But
that's awesome. That's awesome, because it's so important. That's a very important thing, that especially like within people that are searching out for truth, like we have eyes to see lies. And so everyone's like extra careful about who they're even associating with. And a lot of people make assumptions that end up being wrong, but I don't think we should hold that against those people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, correct. It's everybody, we all made mistakes. We all used to think we live on a globe. And by the way, Joe, I don't believe you're in outer space. That's a green screen behind you, just for the record.
I'll give you that.
Just for the record. It's an ugly looking globe too, man.
Hey, David, what did you think of Alex's gig then?
What did I think of Alex's what?
His music, his performance, his gig.
Oh, his music, good. I wrote all his songs. You know that, right?
Right.
And he bought that hat off of me on eBay, by the way. That's how we met. He was looking for a cowboy hat. I was like, I got one.
What a jackass, man.
Yeah.
You guys
had a little fun going, haven't you, between yourselves?
If Davey's not careful, I'm going to expose the state that I found him in on the Friday evening after the gig in the bar. He was a few steps away from sober. Let's put it that way.
That is not true, but
he's got pictures. He's got pictures, man.
Yeah.
Watch out.
I do. I've got pictures. I've got a ton of pictures.
Better be nice, Dave.
Yeah.
So there was 600 people at the conference. Is that
there was more? There was actually more than that. But I want to point out there's a lot of people. Everybody has an opinion, and I'm not saying anyone's opinion is really wrong. Some people like the conference is too much money. You should take that money and put it towards this and that. Yeah, you know what? We should do a lot of things, but the conference for all the people that attended was a life changing or a life affirming event that really will help us continue to go on. Yeah, it's kind of expensive. It was real expensive for Alex. I mean, he had to travel from Europe,
right.
But it was totally worth it. When he comes back, I'm sure he'll agree with that. It's not for everybody, but and people say, the one guy out there, I forget his name, said, you're not going to learn anything new. It's nothing you couldn't learn on YouTube. Well, you know what? That's pretty much true. Although I did learn a couple new things, but you know what? If I stayed on YouTube, I could have done it for free from home, but that's not what it's about. It's about getting out, connecting with, making all these personal connections, and really increasing the energy of this movement, if you want to call it that.
Right.
It's a witness, it's a witness of the truth to other people too. When people get together and they're like kind of proclaiming something, you know what I mean?
I say that the conference is a giant meetup, and that's what it is. It's a giant meetup with some presentations that we can all see on YouTube, and we will all see on YouTube because they're all going up. Everything's going up. But being there is what really is going to keep us going. Because these little meetups that are happening everywhere, you have 6 people, 10 people, 50 people, whatever it is, those things alone are amazing. But the conference is just that bigger, more organized.
Can I say something as well to that? I watched a news thing from Denver News. So it's a news station in Denver, and they weren't rude or horrible. They just stated that, did you know there's a flat earth? People are meeting up for a flat earth conference, and they put out all the pictures of everybody, and they weren't laughing or anything like that. So that's positive and a way forward, isn't it? When the news stations start reporting it as a proper thing.
Right. So that was a longer, in-depth interview with the one with Bob Knodel, right? Bob from Glowbusters. Is that the one you're talking about, Karen?
The Denver News just basically said that the conference was happening. These were all the people that were speaking, and these are some of the things they're going to talk about, or this is what Flat Earth's about. Nobody was laughing. It was about 2 minutes long. I can probably find you the link and send it
that's
to
it.
you.
They were supposed to do like a 7-part series on that, but only part 1 aired, and then it went quiet. That's very interesting to me.
Oh,
Interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. But what they put out was positive. It wasn't negative.
absolutely.
Compare that with 3 years ago.
Now in history, isn't it? It's history, because if you say, we're going to have one, we're going to do it, we're going to have that, it's always gonna. But now these things have happened. They'll be part of the history.
Yeah, all of these things are good. I think I heard someone say that, all publicity is good publicity. I that is partially true, but yeah, the more that people talk about it, positive or negative, it's the more it gets out there. People keep hearing flat earth. Just last night we were out having some dinner, and my kids' friends showed up at the table, and we're all sitting around, and I showed them my app. And they're like, oh, yeah. And both of them downloaded it right away. And they're like, this is cool. Well, I'm going to show it to all the people at my work. And I'm like, you're going to show them the app? I mean, he's like, oh, yeah, man. He goes, I've been talking flat earth. Everyone you talk to is talking flat earth. They've all heard about it. They're all interested in it now. I mean, it's really going everywhere.
I have an example of that, too. I went to the store yesterday, just a local store up the road, and 2 younger guys in their 20s or whatever were in there, and I had that Bible Says Flat Earth shirt on, and starts up a conversation with just about everyone that you pass by. They all look at it and they're like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? But yeah, the kid at the store, he's like, so do you believe in that ice wall thing, or what do you think? People have heard about it. That's awesome, I think.
Yeah. It's not like it was 2 or 3 years ago. It's very different now.
And that's one of the good things about the conference as well. It's not just about the 600 people that are there in the audience. It's about all of the cameras that are there, for publicity. And for spreading the word is absolutely fantastic, because you've got to understand this content is going to be put on YouTube, and over the coming years and decades or whatever, it's going to accrue, hundreds of thousands of views. So you're not really playing to the audience that are there. You're playing to the cameras that are going to see it in a year's time or 2 years' time. So just for spreading the message, the conference is amazing for that.
Absolutely, that's the big thing. It's all of us get together. The cameras are filming it, so that's going out. The billboard was my idea. Last year, I did it again this year to get all the people in Denver that don't know about the conference. So now they're getting 80,000 a week. We're getting flat smacked.
Awesome.
Yeah, the billboard idea is awesome.
You were at the billboard, Joe, right?
Nope, I actually didn't get there till Thursday morning. So
we had a great gathering there. We all caravan got there, parked on the side of the road. I'm like, okay, the cops are going to be here in 5 minutes. But there was, I don't know, Alex, how many people were there? 200, 100?
Yeah, that's what I've said about between 1 and 200. And when I actually got there and pulled up and I saw this huge billboard and it had a picture of the globe and fake written across it, I looked up and I remember getting chills. It was just such an amazing experience to be there with all of those people. You know, what a great piece of activism that was. And God knows how many.
If they don't want it out in the public, do they? So when you see it in the public, you're like, whoa.
And people had their signs. I told people to bring signs to hold up. So there was a bunch of signs, and truckers were going by honking their horns. So it'd be interesting to see what they're thinking. But they're honking their horns. That was fun.
Yeah,
there was about 5 drones up in the air. There was 5 drones filming it. So I've got some footage. I haven't put it up yet.
Yeah, it's the message as well on the billboard just simply said Google Flat Earth clues. And I saw what you said, David, in an interview where, last year we had, 21 questions, a stranger's guide to flat Earth, which is if you're going past at 80 miles an hour, you're not going to take that in. But Google Flat Earth clues is a great thing that will sit in your subconscious while you're sitting on the freeway. And then you take that home. You might just do it. I mean, Mark Sargent's Flat Earth clues was the turning point for me. I watched that video and now I'm a flat earther. So I think that video's very important to watch for a lot of people.
Are you referring to the shill Mark Sargent? The shill Mark Sargent that's woken, that everybody has the same story about? I woke up because of Mark Sargent's clues. I mean, he's got to.
I was actually going to say that on the stage, actually, because I was going to tell my story between songs of how I, became a flat earther. And one of my lines, which I didn't say in the end, was, I woke up to flat earth in May 2016, and that was the month that Mark Sargent ruined my life. Those damn clues, It's true. It's true.
It's true. Did you guys see the murals at the Denver airport?
I did not see them this time. I've seen them in the past.
Right. Me too.
I heard they were. Are they still there? I thought someone said they were removed.
I heard that as well. That's why I'm asking. I don't know. So you didn't see him? Okay. Cool.
I mean, I wasn't looking for him this time. I was flying through the airport.
Chad Taylor made a video of something kind of weird that it said on the wall. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was something like a multiple choice question or something maybe. But the 4th answer was something about the underworld. It was kind of strange. But yeah, that was Chad. I'm sure he's got that on his channel.
Check it out.
I was watching the Thanksgiving Day parade on Thanksgiving morning, and the second I looked at the TV, my kids were watching it. There was some some pop star singing, and she's on a float with a giant flat Earth behind her. Right there. It had nothing to do with her. It was the big AE map, gigantic behind her.
You might have to do a video, man. You might have to do.
I got a couple screenshots from of the television.
Yeah, I'm just bringing those photos up because you Skyped them to me.
Oh, I sent them to you. Can you share them, Alex?
If I know how.
You go to.
Yeah, how do I do that?
Well, careful not to share the stream.
I haven't come on Google Chrome. I've come on something else. I have to be able to share. I have to be on Google, and I'm not, so I can't share them today.
Oh,
okay, never mind. Yeah, but I'm looking at the picture now. I can see the float going past with like angry birds on it as well, and a big flat Earth map. Yeah, I got it right here.
Alex, on the left-hand side, there's a little green arrow on the upper left. You see it? A green box with a white arrow.
Yeah.
Click that, and then you can share the window, open up the pictures, and then you can select the picture.
Yeah, don't do main window. Application window.
Application window.
Do you see it?
Hold on. No, it says here, screen share for Hangout. Select a window to show.
Yeah, so open up those pictures in one window, or just open up one of them. It'll be a separate window.
Well, it says here, start screen share. Is that wise?
I think so. I mean,
I'll just take it off of you for a second in case you do it. I'll just put it on David.
Okay, yeah. So do it.
Right, I'm going to start screen share.
There it is. Stop. You got it. You had it.
Okay, there's no link, is there?
No. Now click it on him, Karen. Lock it on his screen. Say something, Alex. You'll come up if you say something.
Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How's that? Can you see it now?
Yeah.
America.
Flat Earth map.
You gotta
America.
only when Alex talks. So there
Okay,
you go.
right. So do you see it there? You see like the Angry Bird. You see the television screen and the Angry Bird in the top left, and obviously the big flat Earth map
Yeah.
right in the middle there. You got it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
There you go.
That's this world, man. This world has some weird stuff in it concerning this subject. Like really weird. Like the
It's
UN
everywhere.
map and things like that, you know.
So hey Karen, I'm gonna tell you, I don't know if I can't stay on forever, but my for those of you that don't know, I launched a flat earth clock app. It's available in the Apple store. I know that a lot of people have Androids. That's coming out hopefully in a week. And there's a big update coming hopefully Monday or Tuesday, which adds a lot of very, very cool features to it, including your local weather, sunrise, sunset.
What's the app called, David?
What's
the
that?
app called? What's the
The
app
app is
actually
called Flat Earth Sun and Moon Clock. But if you just search in the App Store Flat Earth Clock or just even Flat Earth, I think it's the #1 hit. But anyone that it's free to download. There's an upgrade if you want some of the premium features, which is $2.99. Trust me, I'm not getting rich on this or even making my money back. But Wolfie and his little globe minions have targeted an attack on giving me as many 1-star ratings as they can. So feel free to go over there and give me the rating that you think it deserves, because it's a very, very cool app. You'll love it. And if you have it on Monday or Tuesday when the update's available, it won't notify you, because I don't think it will notify you because we didn't add that into the first thing. So you're gonna have to just manually go in and upgrade it, and you'll have all the new features. And we can share in real time. I could share like new flat Earth videos that come out, something that's really good. Boom! I could share it on everyone's app in a split second. Very useful, very fun, and pretty cool to look at. And I also included a super fast time lapse versus the one that was 90 seconds per day. This is 90 seconds per month, so you can actually watch the sun migrate in and out between the tropics.
It's
Wow.
a great learning tool. It's a really good learning for kids. It's amazing. It's a great learning tool for adults. You know, if you're just getting into this, it's a visually, you know, some people can learn from books and text, which is not me because I'm right brain creative. I have to see things visually. So for people like me that get a kick out of visual learning, it's fantastic.
It also works on the iPad, and we've set it so it won't fall asleep when you're running it. So if you're working at a desk, plug your phone in, set it up like a clock. It's right there. It's going to be on Apple TV soon, and it's also going to be on the Apple Watch and Google Watch and everything else. That's coming in about a week.
What made you make the app then, David? Just asking.
What made me make the app was, if you remember my time-lapse video of the clock that I made, people really loved it. Everybody wanted the clock, and everybody said, including myself, I wish the sun migrated in and out rather than just stay on a static latitude. And I was thinking, how can I do this? What's the mechanism for that? Plus the fact that I wanted the moon with its phases to be going in there, and to make the mechanical mechanism for just to have a moon hand on a clock is $250,000 just to get it prototype. So then I was like, wait a minute, I could do this all in an app. And just like your songs, Alex, it's a lot more work than you think, and it takes a lot more time. I have this development team in India, and for the last 2+ months, I've been talking to them every night, and they start at midnight my time. So I've given up on sleep. Like an hour of sleep is like a full night for me.
What about, I don't know if you thought about this idea, Dave, but what about a screensaver? Because like when my Mac goes into sleep, you just have a digital clock up there. What about something
It's coming.
for PCs
A Mac and PC screensavers on the. It's coming also.
Great.
So
That's a
we've
great
got
idea.
we've got all the screens covered. I actually mirrored it on my Apple TV from my phone. It's very, very cool with all the different backgrounds, and people come in, they look at it, they're like, "That is very cool," and it starts the flat Earth conversation. Or if you're ever talking to somebody about flat Earth, you break out the app, you put it into fast forward, you show them everything, and it resonates with people, except Wolfie, of course.
Yeah, and so it should, because you get instantly how it works. Because everybody says, how's the flat Earth model work? And you try and explain it to them with words. It's really difficult. You show them the app, that's it. They get it in a second. No wonder it's resonating.
Yeah. So just search in the App Store Flat Earth Clock or Flat Earth Sun and Moon. That'll get you there. And please leave a review.
A good review.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. I will download it after the Hangout.
Just remember that you can't look east or west. It's impossible. You can't point to the east or to the west, because when you do, you're pointing south.
Very true.
Because
that's
east
an interesting
and west
thing.
Yeah. So when you're looking west takes a hard right-hand turn and you're looking south. So, people like, it's not right. The sun is, southwest. It is right. The sun is right where it is. You can take it outside. You can see where the sun is. But just remember, your directions are, when you're looking west, you're not looking west. You're looking south. That's a hard one for people to wrap their minds around.
But that actually kind of opens up a different type of thinking. Like you can travel west that moment from your compass, right?
Right.
But
the only thing that's
you're actually pointed south somehow. You know,
the only thing that's, when you're looking west, the only thing that's truly west is whatever is touching the layer of your eye, your eyeball. Because as soon as you separate from that, it starts veering to the south. You're actually looking south.
Yeah. It's a lot easier to understand that when you're looking at a flat Earth map, which I'm looking at right now because that's your logo. So I'm just, I get it completely.
Yeah. East and west are circles on a ball Earth and on a flat Earth. The fact that they're circles does not prove that the Earth is flat. However, when you start looking at what's going on in the southern outer hemiplane, it does prove that the Earth is flat and not a sphere.
Or like Alex's flight to get to Denver. Stuff like that really makes you question, why are they flying over Greenland?
That was a joke. Let me just address that. I mean, because I'm, now being a flat earther, having a plane ride for 10 hours, it becomes a lot more interesting. You spend a lot more time looking out the window and a lot more time fixated on the screen in front of me, which I was. And it was very, very curious to me, as America is supposed to be to the west on a globe. We took off to the north of England. We traveled right up the north of England, and then we started to do this arch where we touched the very south of Greenland and then did this arc and continued down to America and Denver. And of course, you look at that on a globe and it's just like, that makes absolutely no sense. But strange how it makes absolute sense, and it's a straight line on an AE map.
True.
Well, I've just downloaded it. Okay. Thank you, David.
Yeah. So just remember that you check for the upgrade on Monday night or Tuesday. I'm just waiting for Apple to approve it. You'll see a video. You'll know when to look for the upgrade when I drop my video showing all of the new features. Then it's available. And if you've already downloaded it, you just download the new one. They don't charge you again for it. Or if you have the free version, just run the free version.
And how long did this take you to do then, this app?
It took, we're going on 3 months now. And it's still, the final bugs are being worked out. As a matter of fact, the iPhone XS Max, the brand new one, has a small issue purchasing it. It won't allow the purchase, but that'll get fixed early this week. It's just a small bug.
Wow.
But Android's coming. Android is coming very soon. Just keep an eye on my channel, DITRH, and you'll see.
Just looking at the app. Well, thank you so much for that, and I'm sure many people will appreciate that you've done that, David.
Thanks.
Hey, so have you had a nice Thanksgiving weekend, or not? Well,
no, it's very nice hanging out with family and
the people.
we did not talk much about flat Earth.
Was that the nice thing about the conference for you then? Because, you know, when you go out, that's why I don't go out the same anymore. Why do I want to be with a bunch of people who are drinking or don't care, or you end up being at home more, don't you? Or just socializing with flat earthers. So, yeah, you look out at them all and you just think you've got no idea. You don't really want to be with them, do you?
It is difficult sometimes to keep quiet, but just as you know, like you can't give a kid advice unless they actually ask for it. And it's the same with all of these people that are sleeping around us. Essentially, they're kids, and you can't tell them unless they ask. They're not listening. I mean, you can slowly get them to the point where they'll finally ask, but what I try to do is just have enough information out there so they can see it. So when they come to me, they're like, Dave, I saw this post. You really think this? Boom, they've asked. There's your window, and you're good to go. So they don't ask. I don't tell.
Yeah, you got to wait for that window, haven't you? You got to gauge your audience well. Is something I've said a million times. But those family meetups are very, very difficult. But did you not talk about the conference at all?
Not at Thanksgiving dinner, but I did talk about it with other friends. You know, like, oh, you're in Denver. What were you doing there? And depending on who they are, you know, I'll say, oh, we went out, saw some friends, or went to a conference. Oh, what conference? And depending on who they are, you know, you could say the Flat Earth Conference, or I say at a conference on alternative cosmology. And they're like,
oh, I use open-minded conference is what I say to people if they're not woke.
I say I went to a truth conference.
There you go.
They're like alternative cosmetology. I'm like, no, cosmology. They're like, what does that mean? I'm like, well, we question some of the things that are given to us as scientific fact, like where do we live? What does our Earth look like? And they take that, you know, if they're like, oh, that's cool, then that's the end of the conversation. But if they take it a little farther, I'll keep going.
Yeah.
Anyway, your friends are used to you sort of going out and things like that, aren't they? Because you go for awards and sometimes, don't you, David? Last time you were on, you were telling us you were collecting an award.
I was collecting an award for what, at the conference?
No, before the conference. I'm saying your friends are used to you doing these things because you're always going out and doing things, aren't you? And going to, you accepted an award and yeah, that kind of stuff.
I'm not sure what you're referring to, but yeah, I mean, I'll talk to anybody that wants to talk about it. And if they're not,
last time we caught up with you, you were sort of going to get an award. It wasn't a Flat Earth award, but you were going. I remember
that.
Oh yeah. I was at it was for a conference. It was for some projects that we had done, and we had won an award for my company.
Yeah. I'm just saying your friends are used to you doing these kind of things. So you can slip in, oh, whatever you say, truth.
And if they're not asking questions, I'm always slipping a sticker here and a card there, you know, so they come across it. So then they'll be like, what is this?
Alex,
like in the cash machine at the conference, there's every time I went, there's a card in there. You were putting them everywhere.
Every single hotel room.
Yeah. Somebody in my seminar on how to talk to friends and family talked about, they called it ghost smacking. Is that what it's called? Alex, you remember? Ghost smacking. And what they did is on Amazon, they bought these little tiny boombox MP3 speakers. It's like the size of an ice cube. You plug it into your computer, drag your MP3 files on it. Yeah, and it's a tiny speaker, and they cost like $2 or $3 a piece. So you buy like a bag of them, and what they would put on it is my interviews, clips of me talking about flat Earth, and then they would put it like in the ceiling of the elevator, an elevator that doesn't have any music. So I got in the elevator in the hotel, and I'm like, was my phone running? Is there a YouTube thing playing? And I'm listening, and it's me talking about flat Earth, but this is running in the elevator the whole time. And other people are saying they heard it too. Robbie was in the elevator going, I'm hearing flat earth, you know, and he couldn't figure it out.
It's like a voice from heaven.
That's what many people say about my voice.
Interesting. The things that I kind of end up studying or whatever, there's a little more truth to that than most people probably realize.
One of the nights I was there, I got out the lift, the elevator, and as the door slid open like that, somebody had put on the opposite wall a big sign, probably a meter by half a meter, the earth is flat. So as soon as the elevator doors open, everybody's seeing that. I don't know who put that there, but that was genius stroke there.
Yeah, a lot of fun. It was more fun. It was very fun seeing the people in the hotel that were not at the conference. I had a big plan. There was a tech conference going on the same day as ours was. And I thought they were having a second day of that conference. So I literally got up at like 5:30 in the morning down waiting for those doors to unlock so I can go in and put a trifold on everyone's desk, everyone's seat. So they'd all be at this tech conference with a trifold flat earth brochure, and everyone would be just very distracted. It was going to be the ultimate flat smack. But
that's awesome.
It was only a one-day conference, so I blew it.
Yeah, you can't do everything. Can I just ask then, it's a little bit like what Flat Earth Dude was saying, apart from your own performances or whatever you were doing, speakers, who did you enjoy the most listening to?
Alex's wife, she was fantastic.
I was just about to say the same thing about Dave's wife. I mean, she gave me such an embrace and hugged me like she loves me, you know.
I told her to do that because of your fragile ego. I was like, if you don't give him a big hug, he's gonna fall apart and not be able to.
When I turned up, I didn't know who she was, but she pointed at a T-shirt and she'd actually bought one of my Flat Eddie T-shirts.
Oh boy.
You know, that's how much she loves me. So what can I say?
True. That is true.
So what about you, Alex?
But in terms of speakers that I mean, our Globebusters were great. I mean, I've always been a huge fan of their work and they've always been very supportive of mine. And just those guys together, you know, the Morgal made it down as well, which is fantastic. He was having some issues, financial issues, but the community gathered together and chucked a few dollars his way, and he managed to make it. And it was really great to meet. It was just great to meet all of them, you know. And their seminar was fantastic. Iru's was great. Jaren's great. You know, I'm just a big fan of the Globebusters, really. So I mean, they were all great. And if you ask me who was my favorite, it's really, really difficult. You know, Marty Leeds stuff was really good as well.
Rob Skiba opened up the conference with just the 10 misconceptions of the media and really hammered that home.
That was awesome.
There was some people there that were spouses of flat earthers that were not, that were not globers, that were globers. And I think that is the one that converted them right at the beginning of the conference. I told people if you want to come to the conference and your significant other is a glober, doesn't believe in flat earth, convince them because they love you to go to this conference. You know, get them there any way you can. Tell them you're going on vacation. Just say, please do this with me. And one woman took me up on my offer. I said, lunch is on me, and we'll convince you. And I planned on having me, Jaren, Matt Long, and a couple others sit down and have lunch with these guys. So we were there at the reception. His question was about gravity. He didn't understand gravity. And I was talking about how the earth has a static charge and buoyancy and density. Bob was there. Bob threw down some more technical knowledge. And the guy he's he might be an engineer. I forget what it does, but he's a very smart guy. He goes, that's very interesting. I'm going to have to look into that. You can't ask for more than that. Then after seeing Skiba, we saw each other at lunchtime, and he's like, you could just look in his eyes. The ball was just knocked out. He was done. But he's like, I got to look into it more. But the thing is, you can't look into it if you don't know what the question is. And what Flat Earth does is it shows you that there's really another way to look at things. Boats go over the horizon, therefore the earth is a ball. Well, that's what we've been programmed to think, that there is no other possibility. And now, you know, that's completely debunked.
You could definitely. I know the guy you're referring to. I think his name was Jim, and his wife was Branca.
Branca,
what a
yeah.
lovely couple. Yeah, what a lovely couple they were. And you could see the wheels are turning. And if the conference did just that, got him thinking, then he's going to be a flat earther.
The whole conference was worth just him coming with his wife, Branca and Jim.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it made the whole town of Denver think. That's what I think. Just from you know, even just having some media there or whatever. But I think that flat Earth doesn't go around places without being noticed. That's what I think. Or we kind of make sure that it's noticed, I think.
We certainly got some attention in the bar in Denver on Saturday night. There must have been 100 flat earthers in there, and ODD turned up and did a thing on stage. I did about half an hour, 45 minutes doing a couple of flat earth songs. And man, we definitely made our mark in that bar. And what the non-flat earthers were thinking of all of that, God only knows. But we certainly made our mark there.
Did anyone, Joe or Alex, did you happen to use the men's room in the bar?
I didn't go.
Yeah.
Did you see the urinals?
Did you flat smack them, buddy? Because there were stickers everywhere.
Everywhere, but on the urinals, I found the perfect space for them. It's hysterical.
Nice. I don't expect anything less.
Joe, what about you? What was your favourite part? Well, the one that the speaker or workshop or whatever it was that stood out for you.
I was just thinking about that, and I'm like, I don't think that I had a favorite. It was just, for me, it was I guess it was like I enjoyed what Rob Skiba said to the media right off the bat. That was awesome.
Right.
He challenged them to, like, he told them, okay, here's, yeah, exactly. He said, here's what you're gonna do, or what you want, what you're, you know, what typically you're gonna do, but don't do that. Like, he gave them such a clear warning of, this is not what you think. It's not a joke like you think it is. Yeah. So take it seriously. And that was really important. I thought that Rob did that. And then I enjoyed everybody that spoke, really, everybody. One person, Flat Earth Viking, is in the chat. Authentic Intent, I recorded his presentation. I thought that was really good too. But yeah, a lot of good people. All Nathan Roberts and a lot of Chad Taylor, a lot of good people.
Who did you say in the chat room, by the way?
Flat Earth Viking.
Okay, Ace McLeod also was at the conference. He's in the chat room as well.
Oh, and then Hori, I met him too. That was awesome.
Bling Bling. I don't know where Bling Bling is. She's invited, but she hasn't come on yet. But Bling Bling was there. Mr. Thrive and Survive, Dave Marsh. Did you get to see them? Anybody get to see them?
I got to meet Dave Marsh. That was awesome.
Saw all of them. Hung out with Bling. She was hung out with her at the party a little bit, but she had to leave for a flight. And Dave Marsh, saw him a bunch. Saw everybody. It was really great. And a lot of people that I'd never heard of, people that don't have channels. There's woman, Paige, what was Flat Earth 101 lady's name? The one with the book that we bought? Elaine from Flat Earth for Dummies, or is that what the name of her channel is? Flat Earth for Dummies, or Flat Earth for Dummies 101. Really nice woman. Came on her own, I think from Florida. She wrote a book on Flat Earth. It's just, there was so many different people there. It was really great.
Well, isn't that a nice way that you can talk about it then, that you had a really great time?
And the other thing is, I want to talk about the award ceremony at the end, the Flatties, which Patricia calls them, but the Flat Earth Awards. These are all decided by people in the community that just really that are involved in these chats and everything. And so they picked they didn't what they were picking from is a small universe of what's out there. There is so much information out there that the award ceremony could have taken 2 full days to give out proper awards. So, you know, anybody that didn't get one, I got 2, of course. Anyone that didn't get one, It's not like that. It was more of a fun loving thing of just acknowledging some people. But there's so many. I could sit here all day and list awards that people should have gotten. So again, they were selected by people that are, actively involved in these hangouts. And so the universe of what they chose from was not complete.
Yeah.
And the next one's already booked, isn't it? Dallas, isn't it?
It is. On the Flat Earth Sun and Moon clock, there is a countdown timer, and you could put in FE 2019, put the date in, and you'll have a little countdown to see when it's coming. You can put anything you want in there.
That app is cool. My phone is jailbroke, so I couldn't get it. I was bummed, but soon I'll be getting a new phone. I'll have it on there then.
I heard maybe FE 19 might be in Los Angeles.
No, it's in Dallas.
In Dallas.
Yeah.
Okay. And also Canada is Toronto, isn't it? I believe.
I believe so.
Yeah, next year.
Flat Earth man, better get rolling on a boat early this year. No, I'm just kidding.
Man, I can't put myself through that again. If I'm to do it again, I've got to get there about 6 months early.
I'm gonna bet any of you people here on the panel and in the chat that Flat Earth Man does come to Dallas next year.
I'm with David. I'm with David on that.
You have to go to Dallas,
There's
man.
no way that you cannot go again, my friend.
It's going to be a requirement.
Unless there's a massive Flat Earth conference right around the same time in the UK that will feed your addiction, you will be there. Just face it. Deep down inside, you know I'm right. You just don't want to admit it yet because it's a lot of work. Listen, I just came from the East Coast.
Twice as many people.
I had a 4-hour flight, easy schmeezy. I'm actually just getting over being nearly dead from being there. I mean, there's no sleep. I didn't even drink much, but it was really energetically fulfilling and draining.
Yeah, my buddy Mike's here. He just sent me a message. He just showed me a message. He said, "Only if Dallas legalizes weed will I go." So,
Oh, can I just ask you, Alex, what was your most emotional song to sing on you were performing?
oh, that's an easy one to answer. That is,
Easy.
there's a song that most people haven't heard yet, but it is on the album. Oh, whilst we're plugging things, there you go. Flat Earth Man, the album is out right now.
Wait a minute. The podcast sticker's not on there. What's going on?
I took it off because it was really insulting to my intelligence, Dave. I did a song. The very last. It was supposed to be the last song because I knew it would resonate with a lot of people. No, a lot of people haven't heard it yet, and it's on the album. It's a 9-minute song, and it basically talks about my journey through flat Earth and how I now behave being a flat earther, and it kind of resonates with a lot of people because they've all gone through the same thing. And, it starts off about me being such a selfish individual and not having any respect for my brothers and blah, blah, blah. And then you learn the earth is flat, and then you start to treat people with more respect and you treat people how you want to be treated. And now you understand that this is a created realm and going from atheist to creationist and blah, blah, blah. And it talks about that whole story. And I thought I'd save that for the very last song. And it's basically me as flat earth man, but Alex doing the chorus. So I'm kind of doing a duet with myself. So it's me, as Flat Earth Man in the verses, just talking my story. And then Alex comes in and sings the chorus in a kind of Spanish guitar flamenco kind of way. It's a beautiful, beautiful song. It's already resonating with a lot of people online, even though I haven't released it yet, but it's on the album. And when I played
Alex, you know what I'm going to ask? Would you play just a little bit of something?
I don't have any. Well, I might do. Let me just finish my story. I might do, but I haven't prepared anything. If you'd have told me to prepare, so maybe. But when I played that song, it was because there's a couple of lines in that song that talks about, I know that there is a God above, and if I'm good, then He'll show me love, and things like that. And because there's quite a big Christian community within this community, they really resonated with lines like that. Not that I'm a Christian myself, but I know that there's a creator and I know that there's a God. What that is, I don't know yet. But I put those kind of lines in the song and, and saying things like the earth is flat and God created it all. And when I said that line, everybody just went absolutely crazy. And that was my last song. And it's
People love that, man.
Yeah, people really, really loved that song. When I came off the side, I said, "Good night, everybody," and everybody rose to their feet and gave me a standing ovation. And I went off the side of the stage, and everybody was just screaming for more. It was just, it was like being at a rock concert. It was so weird, but that's the song I really thoroughly enjoyed doing because it has such a powerful message, and it's my story, if you like. And I guess the song that I like doing, which was second best, was probably my opening song, which was Flat Earth Man. Because I guess people were just assuming that I was going to mime the guitar, mime the vocals or whatever, but people could see that I could play and I could sing and I projected well, and that song went down really well. And once I did that song, you know, the nerves sort of started to settle a little bit, and I got a little bit more comfortable throughout the gig. But yeah, Don't Let Them Take Your Mind would really resonate with a lot of people, and I can't wait to release it and get working on the video for that.
Your videos are awesome, by the way. That you
Thank you.
put a lot of work into that video. The one, what was that? Which one was that?
Space is
was
fake.
that?
Yeah, that's the other thing I
Yeah,
mentioned.
Space is fake.
On the very first morning, Rick Hummer gets me up and says, "Here's Flat Earth Man," and you know, he asked me the question, you know, why do you do what you do? And I sort of briefly in 30 seconds explained that, you know, I'm trying to sow seeds, and I love Flat Earth and I love music, and I'm just putting those two things together. And he said, "Well, you've got a little surprise for us, haven't you? You're going to premiere your brand new video." And I said, "Oh yeah, that's true, yeah." And it's called Space is Fake, which is my brand new video. Well, I released that like a week ago. And that's already doing really well. And they played that on the huge screens that were there, and everybody just was crazy for it. So, and there was an awful lot of work that went into that. I mean, 2.5 months solid I put into that, all in a 6-minute video. People don't realize how much green. Yeah, it's packed. It's one of those videos you have to watch like 10 times. Bob Nodell said he's watched it 10 times, and every time he gets something new, he's like, "Oh, I didn't realize he put that in there." There's so much going on. It's very layered, depending on your understanding, but it's probably, I could say confidently, that it's my best work. I put so much time into it, and that's on the album as well. The album is out now. Yeah, but that went down really well. The gig went down really well. Couldn't have asked for more, really.
Oh, well, that's good for you.
Yeah, it's great.
Joe, what's your favourite song of Alex's then?
I have to say it was Space is Fake. It's because of the video too. I mean, just anybody in here that's making videos for YouTube or whatever, we know how much kind of work goes into making something like that. And like, since I got this green screen thing too, like, I understand how much work it is to try to set something up. And then like what kind of blew my mind, Alex, was all your lyrics you had incorporated into the video, yet you were still doing that live, and everything matched perfect. That's just so much work, just very hard.
Yeah. And that's the thing people don't understand. I wasn't just preparing mentally, psychologically for the gig, for getting up, and all that content that you saw on both of the screens is stuff that I've prepared. You know, it's like a video backing track, if you like. So it's kind of a video with the vocals taken out and the guitar taken out, and I still have to perform over the top of that. But people were saying, "How did you get the lip syncing so perfectly?" They were sort of analyzing to see if I was miming, but they knew I was singing. They couldn't work out that it was matching up with the videos. So, you know, all of that content I prepared myself. So not just, you know, the psychological thing that I was dealing with. You know, I'm going to be on stage at the Flat Earth International Conference in front of all of these eyes and the screens and the cameras, but also preparing the content for it. I suppose that's why I put myself through a lot of stress. But, you know, I'm passionate about this message. I'm passionate about the music, and I put myself through it, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. Whether I would go to Dallas next year, the jury's still out on that. It was an exhausting experience, but, you know, like I said before we came on air, it's one of those things that I will never forget. It's up there with my wedding day, you know. Sorry, Mrs. if you're listening.
We should start a page for some funds to help you out for next year.
You know, again, as I said before we came on, Robbie said, "Why don't we start a GoFundMe, you know, to get you over there? Because it is a lot of money, you know, to travel from Spain to Denver. It's thousands of dollars." And he said, "Why don't we start a GoFundMe? You're very popular in the community. It wouldn't be a problem to get, you know, $1,500 in a couple of weeks if we put a GoFundMe out." And I said to them, you know, we had a little bit of savings saved, and it didn't feel right to ask the public and to, you know, to hand the hat out, pay for my trip when I had the money sitting there in my account. So morally, it didn't feel right to do that. So, you know, we just dug into our savings, and and that was that. You know, I spent a lot of money. I'm pretty broke because of it, but I wouldn't change it for the world. Maybe, you know, we might have to do a GoFundMe next year. I'm not even thinking that far ahead, to be honest with you. I'm still buzzing from the whole experience as it is. I can't even contemplate next year's.
What does your wife make of it all then? And
she could not believe it. She could not. And after my gig, you know, we went to bed and she looked at me and she went, and I won't swear, but she went, "I effing love you, Alex." You know, because of what I had, you know, what I did. She was just so amazed, as I was. You know, as soon as I got there, people pulling me aside and, "Can I have a selfie? Can I have a selfie? Can you sign my CD?" I had no idea, you know, how much the music was resonating with people, you know, across the world.
You're an American rock star.
A flat Earth rock star. I'll take that. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's she was just as amazed as I was. Yeah, we will both never forget it. And as to whether we go next year or not, I don't know. We'll ask me again in 6 months.
And nobody in Spain recognises you yet, Alex.
No, not yet. I mean, I might do a sort of social experiment next year in the summer when all the tourists are here, and there's a very popular sort of touristy place here, and I might walk down the promenade in the iconic hat and glasses and see if somebody goes, "Hey, you're a flat Earth man." I don't know. It's probably for the best that I'm not recognised here, because I just couldn't. Like I said before a million times, it was assault on the senses. It's just people coming from all angles, and I prefer, you know, a little bit more privacy and a little bit more space than that. That's why I'm a bit more recluse. So that's why it was such a big thing, this conference. But thank God I'm not recognised on the street here, because I don't know how I'd handle that. I'll probably move.
It's the hat.
Oh no. But Joe's very right, really, because, you know, as everybody knows, I mirrored one of Joe's videos. I thought that was brilliant, that one, Joe.
That was a fun one.
Yeah, the last one. And yeah, brilliant. Well, it still took me a few hours to put the music, because I said you didn't put the music on it, so I put a different music on it. But you've done all that work to get that ready, and it still took me a few hours to get that video out. And so I can only imagine how long it takes Alex.
Yeah, I was watching the video. That was right away, I think, and I don't remember exactly timing and everything, but I was sitting in the back. I was sitting with Flat Earth Viking watching that, and I was like blown away by the video, just because of how, like Alex is saying, there like so many things that you could probably watch it 10 times and you still wouldn't catch everything that Alex had spent literally hours on every little aspect of it. I mean, it's a lot of work, and I was very impressed with that video.
Thanks, man. And that's you know, what you don't see as well is all the stuff that is left on the, you know, the cutting room floor, so to speak. Bless you. On the cutting room floor, so to speak. There's so many mistakes. There's so many mistakes that I make that don't end up in the final cut. So you've got to add to, on top of the amount of hours that I put into, you know, creating it. There's so many more hours on top of that that doesn't end up in the final edit. So yeah, I was working on that pretty solid for about 2.5 months every day. You know, a good 6 to 8 hours a day. It can be quite obsessive when you're doing this sort of stuff, when you have a passion for it. And I made that mistake about 6 months ago, getting too obsessed with it and spending every waking hour just making it, just continually working on it, but not eating properly, not taking regular breaks. And I ended up having quite a bad spell of anxiety as a result. I thought it was a heart attack. In fact, we called the paramedics and they said, "Yeah, you're having a heart attack." I ended up in hospital with a thing in my arm, flushing contrast around my arteries to see if I had a heart attack. And it was all basically anxiety. The effects of a very, very bad anxiety attack are identical to a heart attack. So that's why the paramedics were confused. But because I got so obsessed with just, and such a love for what I was doing, that I ended up, in quite a bad place. So now I'm learning to sort of take a break and just do this. If it takes me another 3 years to put out another album, then so be it. But I certainly won't be doing one album per year, because one guy doing all of that work, I mean, I'm playing all the instruments and doing all the visuals, and, it's quite mentally challenging. I don't know of any other artist that does every aspect of the video and the music. This is why you have teams of people working on, all the different aspects, the lighting, the cameras, the music, the production, the mixing, the distribution of the, the CD cover, everything. You have lots of people doing that, but I'm doing everything myself, and it can be exhausting. So one thing I have learned is to take my time over this.
Doing the video itself as your character, the whole thing.
Yeah.
The editing, the any words you've got to put on it.
It's a monstrous amount of work. It's a monstrous amount of work. But when you have a passion for a particular subject, you know, you just, you know, that's what you live and breathe for as soon as you wake up in the morning. And you don't even sleep properly at night because you're trying to process, well, what am I going to do in that scene? How am I going to place myself? Should I place myself on the left? And I should have a shuttle going above my, you know, and then I'm going to do this and I'm going to be on a box for this scene. And every scene is played out in my mind. I don't storyboard this, you know, so I'm lying in bed there thinking, oh, I'll do it. So I'm not sleeping, you know, properly because I'm processing how I'm going to do the next scene or two in my mind. And it's just quite mentally challenging. So yeah, I'm going to take it a bit easy now. I can breathe a sigh of relief that I've done a good thing and the album's released and I can, you know, start thinking about, you know, maybe making some more songs, but certainly not in the near future. I've still got a lot of promotional stuff to do for the album that I've just done. So, you know, again, I've got to do the marketing for that. There's nobody else doing it. You know, I've got to now concentrate on marketing what I've done.
Can I just say it's a real privilege to be here with so many talented people. We've got you and your music. You've got DITRH, he does videos and he's got an app and he's a speaker and so forth. We've got Flat Earth Dude out with his camera and he's doing some flat smacking in Hollywood. We've got Joe who's out with his camera and recording all this stuff about the stars and the moon, and he's making all his lovely NASA videos. Just amazing stuff. And of
I have a
course,
suggestion.
Everybody's putting their energy into this. Everybody's putting time, energy, and money into this. That's why I really love the community that we're a part of, because everybody's so passionate about this. They're willing to put themselves out there, and they're willing to put their time and of course a tremendous amount of money. No one's getting rich out of this. Trust me, as David said, he's not making money out of the app. I can promise you that.
People that are listening, you know, you're looking for different ways to flat smack your family and friends. Nothing better than give them for the holidays. Give them one of Alex's albums, or give them a CD. It's inexpensive and it's great music. And if they listen to it, it's gonna wake them up.
Thank you.
All right. I'm gonna take off. Karen.
Are you? Well, thank you very much. And that picture on your icon now is on the app. Is the app, isn't it?
It is. You know what? I don't know how that came there because I had to create. I was logged into my other account, but for some reason that showed, which is good, I guess.
Yeah, because do you want to put your app again in the chat room?
Sure. I'll post it in one more time on my way out the door.
And thank you very much for coming on. I'll just wait for Alex to come back, assuming it hasn't gone off for an hour or something.
I'll be back in 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
Good to talk to you, David. And thank you for everything you're doing. That's awesome.
Yeah. So no problem. Thank you for everything you do, man. And everybody should buy 10 copies of his album and give them out to family and friends and let the dust settle where the dust settles.
And get the app.
Likewise with the app. You know, we're all doing
Matter of fact, I'm going to order a few right now. I have a few friends that don't believe that I believe the earth is flat. And I know one that's getting that album.
Right. Good. That's what it was made for. My music is specifically designed to sow some seeds and open minds.
Golly.
So where do I buy that album? Where do I buy it?
You can buy the album on every digital platform that you can think of, iTunes, Amazon.
But I want the physical CD. Where do I get the physical CD?
Well, here's a little slight problem with that. When I released it through my distributor, they assured me that there would be a physical CD. In fact, I designed the CD through my distributor. Why there's not one available on Amazon, which there should be, I don't know. I've yet to work that out. But what I might do, what I'm considering doing is, because I'm getting a lot of requests for physical CDs, is having a lot more of these, if you can see that, printed up and having sent to my house here in Spain. And what I'll do is I'll just probably send them out from here. But I have a physical copy, which is a real shame. So, you know, get a digital copy and burn it onto CD. Maybe you can, you know, get the artwork. If you want the artwork, I'll send it to you. You can print it out and make your own. That's the workaround at the moment. But currently only digital, I'm afraid. But I am working on it.
Okay.
Yeah, most things are digital now, aren't they? I didn't think of that because you were showing the CD.
And there's the inside. The CD was obviously begging for the A
Nice.
projections. So
That's awesome.
that's
I love
the
that.
inside. And of course, the back, we've got my dear dog, Eddie, and a picture of the globe burning and the track listing in the back there. So yeah, it turned out nice. Turned out really nice. It's really great. It's really nice because the first time I saw a physical version of my CD was when I got to the conference. We opened the box and it was the first time I got to hold it. So that was quite a special moment for me. And then David took a bloody great sticker and put it on the front. Sent me a picture and said, "Suck it."
That sounds like something I would do, so I cannot deny that.
Yeah.
It's your MO, man.
David.
I'm surprised you didn't stick one on his guitar there.
I did. I stuck it on his mic, on his back, on his hat, on his shoes, and your wife might even have a little surprise for you in the near future.
No.
Ooh,
That's below the belt, man. Or is it literally below the belt?
Little TMI there, man.
I'm not saying, but might not have been me that set that up. Might have been my my other half.
Oh my God, this is war.
Yeah, flat stick at
All right,
war.
guys.
Good night, Dave.
I got
DITRH, thank you so much.
Oh yeah.
Thanks, Karen. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye, darling.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I love
Ooh.
his channel.
And hopefully everybody can see the link to the app in the chat room and everybody download the app.
I gotta check.
Hey,
that out.
hey, hey, hey. It's on apps. It's in music. Come on, guys, we're getting there.
I'm gonna go get the app right now.
Yeah, I've already downloaded the app. Have you thought any more about? I don't want to pressure you, Alex, because we don't just get you on here to sing, but you're free in a sense of worrying about the conference. Would you sing us just even a verse?
Oh.
He'll tell me off later, probably. Sorry, Ash. I always ask you.
Oh,
It's
cool.
tuning up because it's been through 2 airports. Hold on.
Yeah, curvature and stuff. I'm just kidding.
Hold on, let me-
Joe, how is the ISS space station?
Oh, it's doing good. Plenty of air up here.
Oh,
I've been playing with backgrounds a little bit, changing my. Ooh, you can see a little green in the corner of my screen there. I think
mm.
green
Only
screen.
when you said Joe. Where did you find that bit of video? Very good bit of video.
It was which one was that? That was the Soyuz capsule, the Russian Soyuz capsule approaching the space station over what seems to be a flat Earth.
Yeah, and also how that thing was moving around.
I don't understand. I think it's just devils, but I mean, that's probably a lame, weak explanation, but I think it's just something that we, as human beings, we don't have the same, we don't live in the same type of environment as that is up there, I guess, is what I mean. If it's a place, then it's just like a prison for celestial.
If anything is up there, it's in our atmosphere.
Yeah, if it's up there, which we can look at it with our eyes, I'm starting to say to myself, I don't believe it's anything other than just a fallen angel, like a wandering star. You know what I mean? Even though it's got the right shape, and when it goes across the moon and we can take pictures of it, it looks exactly like the ISS. But
Well, that thing never takes, like when they're filming it, it never makes any bowing for the rotation of the Earth on a globe, does it? It's just going straight. Everything always goes straight.
To me, it's just like it's like imaginary, because just because I can see it with my eyes, and then everybody in the world tells me that it's a certain thing, it doesn't work for me anymore. I mean, 2 years ago, I would have been like, oh yeah, it's obvious. But now I'm like, I think there's a lot more going on that we don't understand concerning what that is, you know? but who knows?
Hey, Alex is ready there, sitting patiently.
I am. Is that me?
It's you, Alex. Over to you.
I did this song in the bar actually in Denver. There was a meetup on the Saturday night after the conference, and it was it's only quite a small bar. They had a karaoke on, and the guy said, I met the bar owner, and he said, "Oh, will you do a few songs?" Yeah. So he said, "I'll take care of your tab. You can eat, you can drink all night. I'll take care of it." I said, "Well, okay, right, half an hour of songs and a free tab all night for like 3 of my friends. You're on, man." So there's only a few of my songs that work pretty well acoustically, and this is one of the ones I did that night. And I apologize for the quality. We are streaming on a Hangout here, so here we go. I remember when I learned in school about gravity. It was so cool. I had a teacher that knew it all. She taught me how water could stick to a ball, how buildings stick to the underside of a ball that spins like a carousel ride. Man, it all sounded crazy to me, but I love learning about gravity. I couldn't wait to tell my dad about the amazing day that I had. He picked me up, I was bursting with pride. He opened up the door and I jumped inside. He smiled at me and said, "How was your day?" I said, "Dad, I was blown away. I learned about this magical thing, but it's kind of got my head in a spin. I learned about this Newton guy. When an apple fell on his head, he surmised that there must be a force that's pulling it down, and everything's being sucked to the ground. A force that sticks us all to this ball. The people, the buildings, the oceans, and all." And so it was written in history. Newton had discovered gravity. Well, he just looked at me and said, "Don't believe in gravity. Don't believe in fantasy. Don't believe, 'cause a theory's all it is. It's never been proven, but they take you to the key." Well, my dad felt a little bit sad for me when I mentioned that word gravity. He said, "Have a little independent thought and question what you've just been taught. I mean, how the hell can a ball that spins make a force so strong that sucks everything in, yet birds and insects fly unaffected? Gravity must be so selective. Think about it logically, 'cause that don't make no sense to me. You gotta question all those preachers preach, and question all those preachers preach. You see, gravity is just a bunch of bull. That Newton guy's just a lying fool. These guys like Newton, oh, they shouldn't be trusted. Their Freemasonic lies have been busted. In fact, my boy, it's density. And that's why things fall down, you see. An object always falls to the ground if it's heavier than the air that surrounds. If it's lighter than air, then it'll rise. It'll keep on floating up to the skies. That's what's known as buoyancy. And that makes more sense than gravity. So let me hear you sing it one more time now. Don't believe in gravity. Don't believe in fantasy, no. Don't believe, 'cause a theory's all it is. It's never been proven, but they take you to the keys, yeah. He said, "I'm sorry, son, for bursting your bubble, but that kind of thinking can get you in trouble. These theories they try to put in your head, it's all just pseudoscience," he said. "They'll have you believing in all kinds of crap. That gravity nonsense belongs in the trash. Believe me when I say to you, there ain't no gravity, and that's the truth, no." Well, my daddy made me think that day. He made me think in a different way. I did some thinking for myself. I put that theory back on the shelf. That gravity crap is indoctrination, not truthful, trusted information. People need to wake up and see there ain't no such thing as gravity. So let me hear you sing it one more time now. Don't believe in gravity, no. Don't believe in fantasy. Don't believe, cause a theory's all it is. It's never been proven, but they teach you to the kids. Yeah.
Yay!
Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Brilliant.
You're welcome. I
That's
just about got
brilliant.
my voice back from the conference, and now it's gone again.
Oh no, that was brilliant. Thank you so much. And anyway, you didn't think you were going to be singing today, so thank you very much. It's amazing. Hope everybody in the chat room enjoyed Alex singing. Yay!
Very much. Please buy the album. Download it to flat smack your friends. That's it.
Joe,
That
have
was
you got
awesome, Alex.
you got something
Thanks,
to say?
Joe. Cheers, buddy.
Oh,
Karen?
Mike, check. Houston. Station. Do a voice check.
Do we have a problem? Are you ready for the event?
I'm
Yeah, are
waiting.
you ready for the event?
Just waiting. A lot of delays up here.
And what were you saying about that computer screen behind you?
Oh, yeah. I almost forgot. I'm up on the ISS. Yeah, that screen behind me. It's official. You can see right on the screen. It shows the NASA's official path for the ISS, right? Well, look at the screen a little closer. It's flat.
That is hilarious. That's the first time I've seen that, Joe. That is awesome. What software are you using for that?
It's called Sparkosoft.
That is hilarious. That is
Yeah,
hilarious.
they need a marketing team, but $50, and it's quite useful. I mean, there's a lot I can do with it, and I can do it all while it's live, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that is so funny. That's the first time I'm seeing that. That's man, hats off. Brilliant.
Yeah, and there's kind of some cool stuff. I mean, if I wanted to show you, let's say, if I want to make sure that you knew that the Bible says flat Earth, I'd just do that. Oh, what did I do? I did something wrong. I can do it like you can put stuff on the screen, images, or I could switch over to playing a video if I wanted to, like this. And
That's okay. You can screw up. NASA do it all the time.
oh yeah, totally. I guess I don't have a video set up in there right now, but yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And that's without
Yeah.
$50 million a day.
Yeah,
He's been cleaning the outside of the ISS space station, haven't you? You've been cleaning the windows.
Yeah, I've been doing some spacewalks, this regular old space stuff. We don't use Windex. We use it costs a lot more what we use to clean the windows. It costs about as much as about five grown adults make in their career time. It just to wash the windows. Very expensive.
Say something, Mike? Hold on, just 1 second. Did you want to say
I
something?
was just wondering if you learned how to use a wrench, because that seems to be what they use to fix everything outside.
By the way, this is my buddy Mike. I told a story about him when I played my first song, and I told the story of how I flat smacked him. And there's a line in my song that says, well, he spoke with such conviction and he believed the words he spoke, and something deep inside me knew this couldn't be a joke. And that was written from his perspective, and I told that story on stage. And so he went away, looked into it, and I got a text 3 weeks later saying, holy shit, it's flat. So that's my story.
That's awesome.
Which I told on stage about flat smacking him. And he lives in Spain, lives in the same town as I do, which is why he's here. And he's a flat earther. And he came all the way to Spain as well. And he's had an amazing time. And that's Mike right there.
Nice to meet you. It's awesome.
Hi there.
Yeah, so he had nothing. He had a smile on his face for like 2 days. He just couldn't believe where he was, and the whole thing was just it was awesome, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. See, when we build a submarine, we kind of think ahead, but when we build a $150 billion space machine, we don't think ahead at all. we just do spacewalks on a regular basis to connect wires and, you know, change film on cameras and stuff like that.
I think it's very important to have that stuff on the outside of the ISS. You must have it on the outside. It doesn't make any practical sense to have it on the inside. So that's why we have spacewalks, of course.
Yeah. Well, it's spacewalks plus spacewalks show that we're really walking in space. So,
Exactly.
and they show a lot of bubbles in space. So that's kind of a, you know, but.
Are you really in space right now?
Yeah, dude, 17,000 miles an hour. I know you can't tell it right now, but that's because the cupola windows are closed today.
Right,
so it's not too breezy up here.
Well, I'm convinced. You got me. Yeah, you look like you're in space. That's good enough for me.
Oh, wait, well, I can do it even a lot better. Well, I don't know what would happen if I did that. Let's see. I just had an idea. If I was to take and go like this, what would happen? Oh, I wasn't supposed to do that. Never mind. But you know I got to switch backgrounds. I'll be back in a minute. I gotta switch backgrounds here.
Ooh. Yeah, maybe you could use a program like that as well then, Alex. Maybe that would save you a bit of time sometimes.
Yeah, I want to step up my video editing software one day. I mean, I've been using iMovie, which comes free with me iMac, and it's very, very limited. But I might step up one day to Final Cut Pros. You know, that software's like $300 or $400, something like that. I can't even think about that at the moment. I've still got so much marketing to do. Can't even think about new content and new videos at this stage. I've still got I'm still on the tail end of the last album. I've still got videos to make for that. But yeah, the technology now is so good, and just seeing Joe doing that is hilarious. You know, I want to be able to do things like that, you know, to get the message across, because that hits the funny bone, doesn't it? And sometimes that's the best way to teach people is to be amusing and comedic.
Yes, part of that when I was watching one of your videos, you know, the one where you're standing by the sign and you're going, which way is it, left or right? But it's just the way you do it. I watched that about 4 times, it made me laugh so much.
That's the bit in that video that makes me laugh, because I'm sort of left, and then you almost go to, and then, yeah, that's in Satellite Hoax. I think the sign reads uncomfortable truths, and the other way says, what does it say? Reassuring lies, I think it says, is the other direction. And I'm sort of trying to decide which way to go. But yeah, that's a funny bit. Yeah, definitely.
I like the one where you're kind of flicking your head in slow motion.
Oh, there's so many bits in so many of the videos. You know, everybody's got a favorite scene. I've got my favorite scenes. My favorite scene at the moment is in the Space is Fake video, where I'm hanging on the back of the Tesla, and it looks like I'm flying past the globe, and then a few seconds later you see the Universal logo. It's like, it's just so apt. It's only like 8 seconds, that scene, but
when you were on the shuttle, like when you're riding it like a horse, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So no, this is what I was. You know, the scene behind me is from where that guy just swipes onto the screen. He kind of just he's like this, and then he just kind of, hey.
Yeah.
So I do that all the time.
Is that Mickey Mouse behind you?
Oh yeah, it's some sort of devilish Mickey Mouse Disney thingy. I love that on your video too, when you're like with the 6s on the Walt Disney thing. Yeah, it's awesome.
There's actually a part in that video where I'm doing this dance with Mickey and Minnie Mouse. I'm sort of doing this.
Yeah,
and they're on the
yeah,
they're
awesome.
either side of me, Mickey Mouse. Yeah, I definitely tie in the relationship between NASA and Disney in that video. I mean, if anybody can take anything from that video, they've got to take away the fact that NASA and Disney are one of the same.
Yeah. Do you mean NASA, right?
There you go. There you go.
That's awesome.
What do you want to show us, Joe?
Oh, I already showed you, or I tried to, just how I can do this number. I can just, because that's what the guy on this video did. Actually, I'll switch over to that one if I can find it. Where I don't know, basically they're just playing with software like this is all they're doing. Let's see if I can find it here. Ooh, I could be in the Soyuz launch too. Okay, I think it's this one. I think. Yeah. See how that dude just shows up on the screen? Whoops, where's my...
We've got, that's it, yeah.
And you've got part of me there too, yet.
Yeah.
Whoops.
There's been plenty of instances of astronauts just showing up like that, or stuffed toys or what have you. So it's clear they're using video layering. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I love mocking them is really what I love doing. I think we were kind of like created to do that. We're supposed to mock these liars.
Yeah, well, we're all doing. That's certainly what I'm doing in the videos.
But that, that, like going back to the Bible thing, I think that's in there. I think that we're like instructed to do that. And it's, where is it? It's in Revelation 18. It says something like, well, I'll find it, then I'll come back and read it. But it tells us to do that. It tells us to basically shut it. It's talking about Babylon. And it's just, whoa. It's just one verse. That was my cat attacking me. It says, what is it?
I thought it was a pocket of property.
Oh, yeah, it says, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. In the cup which she hath filled to her double. Like, oh, we got a friend here, a space cat.
Who is it referring to when it's, what's the Bible referring to when it says her?
Babylon is a city. It's like a city that defiles the whole world at the end. And I've come to understand Babylon to be what they're calling space. And it, like, I've reserved kind of something that is probably not like real popular. But even if let's say they launch these rockets with parts for the ISS, even though they got no footage of it or anything, but they built this thing, let's say they actually built this thing up there. Well, I kind of am saying to myself, I'm saying the level of deception that we're up against, like who we're up against, I kind of think that they could even maybe do that. And what I mean is the place that, how does it, okay, where there's 7 wandering stars that are on their own course, and all the other stars have that polar center. So all the other stars do one thing, and then those 7 do a completely different thing. Those 7, Enoch saw those. He was taken to where they were, and he was showed all this stuff and told all these things about them. And he had called them mountains, which doesn't really matter. But then later on in Revelation, at the end, it kind of gives it away that those 7 mountains are the planets, and that's where Babylon sits. Like that holds up this huge deception that basically screws over everyone in the world.
I guess my question is Babylon referred to as a female entity?
Yeah, it says she's a city, but it's a she. It says, and the woman which thou sawest is that great city, which reigneth over the kings of the earth.
Right. Gotcha.
So to me, what we're doing right here is there's an honesty, truth level to it, down here on the earth and what we're doing. But at the same time that we're doing things here, there's a battle being fought in heaven, literally a battle being fought in heaven from the angels. And like when you sing your song and it gets through to someone's head and they're like, whoa, that made me think. What we're doing is we're binding the fallen angels up here in heaven. So when you sing your song, they can't do anything up here, and Michael and his angels advance. So what I'm saying is, like, this is the battle, the end battle, and we win. It's already written. So I'm not even worried about it. But what I'm saying is look at how fast it's moving in 3 years or so. Look how much it's changed the world.
Oh, absolutely. I always ask
just
myself
people's
the question is where is this going to be in a year's time? Where's it going to be in 5 years' time? I guess the Bible doesn't give you a timeline of when, the end days are to end, but I often wonder where it's going to be.
It sort of does. But it's like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not something that I don't think that we could know, like, oh yeah, it'll be this day that something happens. But in that,
there's a lot of people that
it is the end times because it is the end times because the people are waking up themselves.
Yep. And also, this is like, gets deep, but what that story tells us is that the people at the end that start declaring former things, and that's a quote from Isaiah, they declare former things, they're God's witnesses, and they were actually sent here from the beginning of time to tell this message to the world, to basically save people in the world from this lie. So I know that that's like really kind of weird, but it says Jesus was saying that he would bring things to our remembrance, and just the words that he says are so important, I think, right now. If someone's looking at the spiritual side, and I'm just calling it a war. It's literally a war, and we're on the front lines. And
so how do you feel, Joe, about these end times predictions and these end times events that a lot of people are sort of prophesizing? If you look at Martin Kenny's work, that he talks about the reset in 2020, or Brian Austin Lambert, quite depressing work. I don't know if you looked at his, but he's talking about an end times event or a reset or whatever. How do you resonate with that kind of information?
Well, my take on it, like just really generally a simple take, I guess, is that what's going to happen is there's a small group of people right now, and I think everybody in this chat or this hangout is part of this group, that we were shown supernaturally, we were shown something that our families and our friends, they weren't shown. And what we're doing is we bear witness to this truth because he showed us, and now we're testifying to it. And what's written in there anyway, the world doesn't listen. The world can't learn this song. It's called a new song, and the world can't learn it. And what happens is God's wrath comes next. So this is like, and that's the thing. This is just my understanding. I can't say that I know any of this. But
hold on, let me stop you there. Then is what we're doing fruitless? If you're saying the world doesn't listen to the song, we talk.
Nope, it's actually the opposite of fruitless, because it sure feels fruitless, doesn't it? I mean, if a lot of the time. But what happens is the result of these. It's supposed to be 1,260 days, which is about 3.5 years. That's how long that this testimony, in my understanding, that's how long this will happen until we get taken out of here, like literally lifted out of here. Something that the world's never experienced since Jesus was here and he got lifted out of here.
So are you saying then, because the world won't listen, those who are ready will be ready to leave, or something like along those lines?
Yeah, basically, because I think basically we're considered, I mean, like, I'm not trying to be blasphemous or something, but if we were to empathize with God and look down on what he made or whatever, I think what he's saying is there's a whole world of people gathered against the truth that he has sent us. Like he has sent, however that happens. But put it this way, 3 years ago, I didn't think this way. I couldn't think this way. I didn't see this way, and I didn't understand what this was, and it just didn't exist. And then over the last three years, think about this. You know how Christians say they're reborn or born again? Just imagine if we took and we separated out. We have like Joe's flesh body, my physical body, and then we have like my spirit. Well, my physical body's still the same as it was 3 years ago, but my spirit is brand new. Like it's been born new. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not.
Yeah.
I don't see the world with the eyes of these lies. He's given us supernatural vision, basically.
Yeah, I mean, you've upgraded your software to use an IT expression.
Yeah,
Well, maybe
yeah,
it's a vibration thing, and there's a lot of things that aren't in there. There isn't this ego thing. None of us who've really woken up worry about the ego side of anything.
exactly. It's because I'm sorry, Karen, I cut you off.
Sorry, that was it. We just want to help each other.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of prophecies about these times happening, and it said in Zechariah, he went into detail about it. He said that these prophets, they'd be ashamed of their vision, and they would not deceive when they were prophesying or whatever. They wouldn't be deceiving, like they're not telling lies. And then but of course their parents and everyone tells them they're speaking lies. But we all know it's because they don't look. This is simple stuff that we're actually putting forth. This is like a 2-year-old, 3-year-old child can understand the things. I mean, of course it gets complicated, but the basic idea is that we use our eyes and our ears and our balance and our senses to experience everything that we ever experience. And what we're doing now is we're putting false junk into our lies, into our minds, and trying to live that way. And over the last 3 years, we've really started a new way of living in truth. We don't like lies.
I see it a bit like the Enoch thing, like he talks about, or always mention with Enoch, is the veil. I've said it loads of times. Like everybody's watching the computer screen, but for some of us, we can see behind the screen. And it's quite amazing because you feel like it is an obsession, isn't it? Like I know you've just talked about how it's a bit obsessive doing what you've had to do, Alex, and the amount of hours, but it's for a message, and as well as yourself, as well as your music, but it is like an obsession. You can't really get away from it. You're like a beacon going do 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 do. And
there's something that gets you right there. There's something that gives you, you know what it is? The word is purpose. That's all I can sum it up. I feel like I have a purpose now. I feel like my entire life, all of those bad gigs I did, all of those frustrating moments, like trying to work out software, trying to work out chords on a guitar, all of my life experience has come together now for this message and this purpose. So it can become, and it just consumes you. It's a wonderful
Alex,
thing. You just have to learn to control it.
What you just said, it defines exactly what it's saying in the Bible. You said how you're kind of like everything that you've been doing in your life or whatever, and then all of a sudden it kind of has come to this point right now where you're like, this is it. This is what it's for. This is what I'm supposed to do. That I think a lot of us are kind of finding ourselves that way, and I think that comes from, that's the Spirit of God. That's the Spirit of truth. And to me, it's amazing the words that Jesus himself said, or Yeshua, or Yahusha, or a lot of people getting like confused by the names, I think, because we're just talking about the Son of God. But what's interesting to me is he said to us 2,000 years ago, it's written down that he said, you didn't choose me, I chose you. Like, that's one of the most important things that I feel like I was kind of kidnapped, but I'm in a positive way, but kind of like just taken away from my life that I had, and given a new understanding and a new purpose, like you just said, purpose. But that Jesus said he was going to send his Spirit of truth. And when this Spirit of truth came, that the Spirit would guide us into all truth.
Well, that's very interesting that you said that. I mean, I'm not Christian. I'm not religious at all. But I understand, I get a kick out of Rob Skiba's stuff. I learn Christian stuff and religious stuff and biblical stuff through this. And one thing that many Christians have said to me, that Jesus is working through you and that kind of, understand that. I can't completely understand that because I'm not religious. I'm not born again or anything like that. But many Christians have said, you know, Christ is working through you and all of that. And I do feel like I do have a kind of new identity. I mean, look at me now. I mean, I literally have a new identity, literally, you know.
And you know what, that let me touch on that, what you just said, because it like kind of hurts my heart to hear someone say what you just said. And not in a bad way. I'm just saying that this world has taken the idea of God and the idea of Christianity or religion, and they've painted it into something that they believe it is. But what I'm saying is that we're actually living it. So when you say you're not born again, I might have to argue with that. And I'm saying from like, if we were able to look through God's eyes at what's happening and what Alex is doing, and I think that it's more that Alex is obeying what God said more than any of these other people that are believing lies. So what I'm saying is that
I hear what you're saying. All I can talk about is, you know, how I feel, and I just feel like, you know, I'm a different man. I'm a changed man. I have a song about that. I have a moral compass. I think differently. I react differently. I treat people completely differently. So in a way, my entire personality has changed. So whether that's, you know, religious, it's spiritual, but certainly my, you know, or if it's a frequency change, or energetically I'm changing. But I have definitely, in the last 2 years, have completely and utterly changed as a person for the better. Thank you. You know, thank God.
It's more of a, that's what Joe said as well. Joe said the same thing about himself.
It's a new identity. And here's what I've learned. It's not me that's able to make this happen. Like this, obviously we're willing, right? I mean, we have to be willing to change in order to see the way we're seeing. It took 3 years for me to get to where I'm at right now, where I can talk about this and it makes it even a little bit of sense. But we had to be willing to do this and literally give up our lives in this world in so many ways to speak this truth. So
Absolutely.
What I'm saying is that as far as what the Bible would say, it versus what the world would say, the churches or the idea of Christianity and stuff, I get the idea of what the Bible says. There's a lot of people that aren't as intimately into the Bible itself, the book, but they're doing God's will for this time. I mean, like a very important thing. You know, if you think about the numbers, is there like, I don't know if it's true, but there's like 7 billion people or something in the world that they say. And in the Bible, that group of people who declares former things, that basically shows God's glory, that's only 144,000 people. So when you think about the numbers there, that's 1 in 50,000 people that each one of us is kind of taking that spot. So what I'm saying is the social media and just us being public saying, no, I believe that we're being lied to, just going out in public saying that, it affects thousands of people around us. And we don't even necessarily realize this. But I mean, in the end of things, that's what's happening, I think.
Well, it only takes the 1% to control the 99%, doesn't it? So, you know, exactly. Just excuse me for 60 seconds and I'll be back because I want to touch on so many points that you said there, but carry on 1 second.
Yeah, this is awesome though, just to get his point of view on it, because I see what you know, what the world would call a Christian or something. When I look at Alex, or I'm just saying people that know the truth and are honest with themselves and are not hiding, or it's a pride thing too. I mean, none of us likes to go out and say, yeah, did you know Earth is flat? Because what happens is people are like, oh, you hate science and all these things that happen. But really it has nothing to do with that. We're the ones that are the scientists, right? Go to any one of our channels and look at the content. Well, Conspiracy Guru, he's maybe not as much of a scientist, but you know what I'm saying. I just think that we are doing the science. You can go to my channel, you can find 50 videos of Mille Lacs Lake, looking at the houses across, analyzing what we're seeing in summer and winter on frozen water. What I'm saying is that's science. We're making observations that cannot be refuted. So instead of being refuted, they just get unacknowledged. They just assume that it's ridiculous before they even look, which is sad.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying there. It's looking with new eyes and remaining open, isn't it?
Yeah, and remaining true to the truth, if that makes sense. Like not letting the truth be stomped on, even if it's just a small thing. And we do, like, I think that God made us into human lie detector tests, to be honest. Nobody can lie to me. If someone tells me a lie, I'm like, you're lying. I just tell them.
I've got a little saying. I don't know if this makes me whatever, but my little saying is this little saying goes, roses are red, violets are blue. You're like a pane of glass. I can see right through you.
Yeah, that's a good one. But that's really, I mean, he gave us eyes to discern what truth is and what lies are. And we don't even have to try, really. I'm not trying to be boastful. I'm saying this is just my experience. So if someone's lying to me, it's like it comes and hits me in the face before anything else. I'm like, whoa, what is this thing in my face here? I can't talk. I can't even see you. Let's get this thing taken care of first. And the lies just get exposed.
Super sensitive.
Just touching on that, when your eyes are open and you start to notice things that you wouldn't have noticed before. I'll give you a short story. I'll keep it pretty short. But when I left for Denver, and this wasn't planned, and I don't know how you feel about the numbers in all of this, but my flight was booked for the 11th of the 11th, and I flew out to Denver on the 11th of the 11th, 2018. You add those numbers up, it's 11. So I flew out on the 11th of the 11th of the 11th. My flight was originally due to take off at 11:54, which is 9:11. We actually started reversing out of the airport at 11:56, which is 11:11. So I flew out, or started my journey on the 11th of the 11th of the 11th of the 11th of the 11th. Okay, now when you look at the numbers, that means a new journey or something like that, or new beginnings, I believe it means. And when I got to Denver, I started seeing these twos that I wouldn't have normally paid attention to. But a bus went past; it had 222 on it. I happened to look at my face. How many friends have I got? Not that I'm into, but I just happened to glance at it, and it said 2,222. Okay, and then I saw the bus again, and then I put my bag on the scales at the airport, and it weighed 22.2 kilograms. Well, that's what the hell, I'm starting to pay attention to this, and I get into the car with Bob from Globebus, and there were 6 of us, and he said, "Okay, get in there, 2 in the front, 2 in the middle, 2 in the back." He said 222, and he vocalized the 222, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm seeing these 2s everywhere." So that night, of course, I had to look up what 222 meant, and the wife got on the phone and started explaining to me what 222 means, but it actually means a new chapter of your life, meeting soulmates, making a difference in this world, and these kind of things. And I was just absolutely astounded. So paying attention to the numbers for me on that particular trip was absolutely outstanding, and really, really moving for me.
Oh, just to let you know, Martin Kenny's coming back on Wednesday to do a breakdown of more words.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, I love Martin's work. I absolutely love Martin's work.
I have to check him. Like, I've heard of him and stuff, but I haven't really, I have to check out his stuff.
Well, we were having a hangout with Martin Kenny, and someone was holding the camera, and then he introduced Josh, and Josh started talking, and then we said, "Well, Josh, we'd like to hear more about what you've got to say as well. Would you come back?" And he said, "Yeah." Then they've come back, and it's gone down really well, that hangout, and they're going to do another one. They want to see where it goes. Yeah. And that's just great as well. Got to remain open and see, and be humble, and see that we're all important.
We're all working
we might
together.
Not necessarily agree with each other, I mean, Martin Kenny's work, I think it's sort of beyond biblical. I mean, when you look at his model, there are other lights in the outer circles, and I know biblically it says that God made 2 great lights. But what Martin Kenny is proposing is that there are other lights, that as you start to expand and you start to go to outer space, if you like, these outer realms, you know, there are other lights there. So it kind of conflicts with the biblical aspect of it all. But you got to take what resonates with you and build your own reality, haven't you?
Yeah, well, lots of people, when they get really attuned, would see all these synchronicities happening, and it's always to do with numbers. I've got so many people that have come to me, they feel like they're going mad because every time they do something, or they'll know the time and all this kind of thing, it's just because you're sinking into nature and everything.
Yeah,
Plus,
you're more aware. The more.
Yeah,
Sorry, Joe,
exactly. Our minds can. Well, I'm just speaking for myself, I guess. My mind, the capacity of what I can bring in a moment or whatever, or just what I can comprehend, it's just not even comparable to what it was 3 years ago. My mind has expanded into something that just didn't exist 3 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet if we were made to do this at school, we wouldn't have learnt it. And now you can't get enough information in there. In fact, sometimes there's so much in there, you just think, oh, it's like it's bruised. There's so much information in there.
And then I'm always like thinking about people that are just like on their first day. We're like, what? I'm being lied to? I'm like, those poor people. I mean, I feel bad for them just because of the thing that we had to go through in the last 3 years. It's not necessarily fun.
No, it can be.
The one thing I find really strange, I'm not talking for you, Alex, because I know that you're not in England, and I know that some of your family members, so I don't mean to, but it's that you wake up and you're more free in yourself, but out there is just a nightmare, including your friends and family. So you're actually more cut off than you were before, in a way.
Yeah,
that's what
completely.
I see.
That's one of the reasons I don't have a massive social circle. I did that. I've been there, seen it, done it. I was, playing in the bars and the clubs for like 20 years. I did my apprenticeship, surrounded by, people that are just getting drunk and watching the football matches, as I spoke about before. And that's not me anymore. So, I don't need a massive social circle. I've got Mike, my buddy, who's sitting here listening intently here, and that's all you need. All you need is one guy, really, or a friend to talk to about this. And, but I'm done with that social circle. I'm done with those superficial conversations. I can't, it's going to take a few years for people to catch up in a way. That's how I feel. And I hope that happens. So I hope that in 5 years, 10 years time, we're all talking about this and we're all brothers and sisters. I see that happening on a very, very slow level. It's a very gradual curve. And I think maybe we're at the forefront, and maybe it's our children or our children's children that are really going to be benefiting from the social aspects of Flat Earth. Oh, hold on. My buddy Mike's got something to say.
No, I was just one of the women that I met at the conference. She was a flat earther and a vegan, and she said she's rendered herself undateable. I thought that was kind of a funny comment. But...
Yeah, I'm probably in the same boat. Like, it's a weird thing, but that's interesting. What you said is you hope in 5 years people will be talking about it. In 5 years, in my understanding, obviously I'm not calling the future, but in my understanding, everybody's going to know and believe it in 5 years or less. That's my belief.
I hope you're right, because if that's true, then we're in a very, very interesting times, and what an amazing time to be alive. And I hope I'm around to see that. But my fear is, that we all know, everybody in this Truth and Movement, we all know that the 9/11 narrative is absolute nonsense. We all subscribe to that. But still, the mainstream media pushes their narrative, and 9/11 is just pushed to a corner of the internet as a conspiracy theory. And 9/11 was nearly 20 years ago, and I just worry that Flat Earth is going to be the same. We all know the truth, but it's going to be discarded to this corner of the internet, and that's my only worry. So I'm kind of torn between whether it's going to be, husked into this little conspiracy theory corner, or whether, like you say, and I hope that you're right, in 5 years' time, everyone's going to know about it. I hope I'm around to see that.
The children will do it. D Marble put a just a clip on Facebook of a teacher of like kindergarten or something, and she had maybe 3 or 4 children around. Maybe you saw that.
I saw that. Yeah, very good.
And the kids were like, no, that's fake. She was trying to show them the globe, and she's like, here's this, and there was more than one of the kids in there. They were going like, no, that's fake. That's not how it is. That's not how it is. And I'm like, yes, because if that happens at age 4 or 5, every person that one child knows is going to know the truth, like
Well, you
fast.
see, I believe the children are our future, and teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside.
It's true, though.
It is
Also,
true. Very
something else as
innocent.
well. You know, something else as well. If you go to the more native people, you know, Native Americans, all these native cultures that are still native, none of them believe in a globe. It's the Western. It's Europe and America and England. It's us. So
Yeah.
actually, we might be the majority that believe in a globe. Not us personally, but this side is the majority. Sorry, minority believing in a globe. Maybe more people actually do believe in a flat plane from the beginning.
They were teaching flat Earth as recent ago as 1917 in Russia.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Rob Skiba said that. I didn't
Exactly.
hear that, but I'm like, wow, that really makes you think. Really
Yeah.
makes you think. Like
Yeah,
if that's
I do believe it was punishable in certain countries to teach the globe.
Yeah, they've
Should
made it
be.
look like it's never been here. But this is what I think they do when they displace people, or many people are moving across the plane and living in different countries. There, they might have kept all their traditions. Here, we're Western. Maybe they were wearing Western, you know, their clothes. They come here, they're wearing jeans. They've changed. In 20, 30 years, a lot of those people will have forgotten their customs. But they've done that to this. They've done the very same thing. So people are going, oh, well, it's new flat Earth. But it isn't.
it's just the same thing basically. But well, here's the other thing too, is that I don't remember all the names of all the people that wrote books, but 150 years ago, people wrote books about, is the Earth a globe, or is the Earth flat, or whatever. You know, these types of those guys would have been like leaders of what we're doing today. Like they would have started that, but they didn't have a way to spread out this truth like we do now. So it's to me, it's only a matter of time that this was going to happen anyway, you know. But
we got
knows?
technology on our side. I think you're referring to Samuel Rowbotham. I think you know. So this stuff is not, you know, this stuff is not recent. This stuff has been around for hundreds of years. It's just they didn't have the platform. We have the platform now. We have the technology. We have the internet. That's why we're
social
seeing such a rise in
media.
it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's awesome. Well, and that's another kind of a different aspect of, like, when someone says, you know, if you have 5 people in a room and one of them says, oh, you guys, there's a lie going on here. Look, here's the truth. It's like not really likely that that person's going to get through to those 4 people just in that room. But with social media, there's Alex, Karen, there's all these people, and we're putting a message out there that stays. Like I put a YouTube video out there and it just stays there. And we refer people to these videos all day long. And it's something that we didn't have before. That there was just no way to spread information, that the information wouldn't get tainted and change. Do you know what I'm saying? I can guarantee that a video that I made is not changed into meaning something else or whatever, you know?
And that's the thing. When you put a video out, you have no idea how much you're touching people's lives. And I certainly had no idea until I got to the conference. I'm sitting at a bar and there's a guy across that's from Trinidad. And he said, oh, man, I love your songs, man, in his Trinidad accent. And I was like, wow, you just have no idea how much you know, and these videos are online forever and ever and ever and ever,
Yep.
you know, and that's
They're
the
going to
beautiful
be for
thing.
a long time.
Yep.
Lots of views. And that's the thing too, is like your videos, Space is Fake, the newer one. I've seen that. I don't know how many places. It's not just on your channel. You know what I mean? So the combined amount of people watching a video like that, the amount of effect that
it's
has.
ridiculous. It's actually millions. When you start to collate all the views from the other channels that have mirrored it, which I encourage, you're starting to talk about reaching millions and millions of people, which is fantastic. And that's something that music can do, but a 2-hour documentary can't. You can't sit down necessarily and get somebody to watch 200 Proofs the Earth is Not a Spinning Ball by Eric Dubé, but you can send them one of my 5-minute videos without the Flat Earth message and just send it to them and say, look at this crazy guy, you know, and just say, you know, look,
this guy's hilarious.
Yeah, this guy's hilarious. Go check him out. And that is planting the seed, and that's what the music is so good at doing.
So you just reminded me of another verse that Jesus said, he was predicting the end. And he says, and this gospel of the kingdom like this good news of the kingdom, shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. I'm just saying, I think we're preaching that gospel.
Collectively, I think we probably are.
Yeah. I think that's the gospel that is for the next era, or the next time, or the next 1,000 years.
Yeah.
We'll all know someday.
So can I just say something? Could we just slow down the flashing man? Well, someone in the chat room getting a bit.
To do my head in. Yeah, get him off. Change the background.
You're muted, Joe.
Change the background. Give us something else to look at.
Yeah, it is quite amazing, this bit where a lot of us have woken up or waking up and all that, but yeah, flat water. Hey, flat earth dude, if you're there, look, there's no bendy water.
Flat.
Where's the bendy water?
Bendy water, mate.
Can I get a glass of bendy water? I need a glass of bendy water.
I love water. It's such a great tool to explain flat earth. I love it.
But gravity. But gravity.
Yeah. Demonstrate some curved water for me, and then we'll talk about gravity.
Again. Well, that little video that I copied of Robert Forsh's the other day with the lava sun leaving the water. Where's the gravity there? No gravity there.
Yeah, there's a. I just
gravity, man.
Or Rob Skiva says gravity, like Tony the Tiger.
Oh yeah, gravity.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I just think it's 2 years ago. 2 years ago, this kind of talk was much more ridiculed than it is right now, and that's only 2 years. 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. I'm just saying that this truth it already won, is what I'm saying. Well, everybody's going to know.
Here's an interesting thing. I mean, I spoke briefly earlier about my interview with Logan Paul. Logan Paul was the surprise guest at the Flat Earth International Conference. Regardless of what you think about him, okay, he has a huge social media presence. Okay, and it is mostly younger people, mostly teenagers. Now, if he's legit and if he's wise and if he's waking up to this reality, which I kind of get the sense that he is, you know, judging on his reactions to interviewing people, I'm a pretty good judge of character. Judging on his reactions, it seems to me like he's genuinely waking up to this reality. If that is true, then his reach of 50 million plus teenagers will be absolutely outstanding for this message, for this truth, this reality.
And think about that too. Like a lot of people were ripping on the conference in general because Logan Paul was there, and they're like, oh, they're going to make a joke out of it. I'm like, you guys don't get it. Like, for me anyway, my goal or whatever is for everyone to hear about this. I'm not trying to talk anybody into anything. I just want everybody to know that there is a truth, that they're believing a lie, or that at least that they think that I think that. Do you know what I mean? Because if I say to you, oh, no, man, you're believing a lie. I mean, I'm not trying to insult you. I'm actually trying to tell you, hey, but a lot of people are like, no, I'm not. I know better than that, you know, and that attitude will be gone very soon. And I'm saying it already is almost gone, because when I used to bring it up to people, they'd be like, oh, no, you're an idiot. Here's how it is. And they'd tell me how it is in their little lying world. But it doesn't happen like that way anymore. I tell people how it is. And I'm not trying to be like proud or something. I'm saying that in a conversation, the misunderstood things that people are believing are just so far off that it's quite easy for us to actually explain them away, I think. Like curved water. Where? Yeah. We'd have to observe it, wouldn't we?
I guess. I mean, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's a lot more difficult to explain this to somebody who has 40 years or whatever. You know, it's like trying to learn a language when you're middle-aged. It's a lot more difficult. But for children to understand, this is why NASA are always having these little debates with children. They're always, you know, the ISS is always, you know, having a live event to a school somewhere. They're targeting children. And I think that's something we need to do. I don't want to use the phrase targeting, but we need to get the next generation. And I think that's something Logan Paul could probably do with his audience. He could be very powerful in this movie if he chooses to go in that direction. I hope he does. What I've seen so far, he's pretty genuine. You know, he actually went on stage and said, I think I'm coming out of the flat earth closet, and did a mic drop. So, you know, that message could be amazing.
Well, and then at the same time, we're all going to decide for ourselves what we believe, right? And so if someone manifests this truth to someone, now they have it. It doesn't mean they have to believe it, but now they understand that there's something else that other people are believing. Like, that's a big witness. And then you get a guy like Logan Paul that has millions of subscribers. I personally don't care if Logan Paul is a flat. I mean, obviously it'd be great if he saw the truth, but does it really even matter as far as for this truth to be spread across the whole world, around the whole world? Just kidding.
No, it doesn't matter. But the younger generation will always look up to someone like Logan Paul. And if Logan Paul says the Earth is flat, then they have an inspiration to the other. And they'll go, oh, Logan Paul said it. Or if their favorite pop star came out, like B.O.B., and said the Earth, because B.O.B. thinks the Earth is flat, it might just, you know, encourage
them to at least look at it and then consider it without this ridicule idea.
Yeah, because people won't listen to their family. They often won't listen to the closest people that are around them, but they will listen to a pop star or a celebrity because they have more of a connection with their YouTube celebrity than they do with their parents, which is a shame. But
it's a shame, but that's
very important.
Very true what you're saying. Like, I've had terrible luck with close family. They just call me an idiot. But then everybody else seems to really be kind of interested in what I'm saying. You know what I mean? But yeah, it seems like people that maybe they have a bigger defense against it or something. I really don't know.
Yeah,
but
sometimes you push away the ones that are closest to you, don't you? Yeah, I think, you know, if we had more, you know, in inverted quotes, celebrities, you know, doing the kind of stuff that Logan Paul did at the conference, hopefully it's a pro FE piece. If we had more than that, then, you know, with the reach that he's got, you know, we're going to be targeting, for want of a better phrase, the younger generation. And I think that.
Can I ask something? Would this have made, say this, you had been 20 years of age and this had come up, would you have felt like you do today but just younger? Or is it there's just the time just happened the way it did at that time, whether you were 10, 15, 20, 30, 40? What do you reckon? Would it have made any difference if you'd got all this at 20, 19?
You go first, Joe.
I think that, I mean, I can't really tell you what the difference would be, but I do know that when I was 20, I had a lot of ambition for whatever was right in front of me. I was like really eager to I guess, a lot of energy. So I probably would have been even worse for everybody around me.
Yeah, I'm the same. I had an awful lot of ambition around that age. I can't tell you what I would have been like. I almost wish that I had woken up in my 20s. I could have achieved so much more in the last 27 years. You know, I have huge admiration for guys like allegedly Dave Murphy, who's clearly schooled his child very well, who has a channel called Red Flag Media. And the guy's only in his 20s, but he is so woke, unbelievably woke. And that's the future right there. You know, I wish I'd have woke up in my 20s. I could have done so much more, but because I had a passion, I had a goal, I knew I had a purpose, but it's only now in the last couple of years that I found that purpose. But, you know, that's life. But had I have learned this at the age of 20, oh, I couldn't tell you. I wish I had.
Is it that the purpose found us?
I think all of us here and most of the people in the chat are very sensitive people. Patricia is, you are Joe, Flat Earth Dude, so are you, Alex. We can feel it even on the Hangout. So, yeah, we must have half been there anyway because we were all sensitive to start with. Probably empathic as well. Most of us are empathic.
Yeah, I think it takes a certain individual to wake up to this, you know, and I think this has been echoed at the conference actually and the conference previous to the one that's just happened, that it takes a certain type of individual, specifically a right-brained individual, someone who's creative, who's artistic. David Icke often talks about the left brain prison and how the psychopathic elites are trying to trap you into this left brain prison of just literally regurgitating and repeating all the information that's fed in, keeping you in this left brain prison. I think the right-brained of us, which I think we all are, are inquisitive, artistic, creative. I think those are the type of people that are going to get this message, but we just have to work a little harder on the left brainers, I think.
Yeah, and we're not programmed now like they want us to be.
And we won't stop.
Right on, man.
Well, can't now because, we've got you on the ISS space station to look out for us up there. I
know. I just love that I actually show up in the searches on YouTube. That's great. Because you see my big giant head, like it's kind of obvious when you see the thumbnail. But I love that. Go ahead.
That is great that you're showing up in the YouTube search results. But I hate to be.
Yeah,
you know what's going to happen, don't you, with YouTube? I mean, they've openly said in a meeting that they're demoting flat Earth content. So, don't be.
I think they are.
My content has already been demoted. There used to be a time when you typed in flat Earth man and all of my videos would come up. Now, if you type in flat Earth man, you get Mad Mike Hughes.
I just saw that. I'm like, why is Mad Mike coming up? But then I found one yours a little bit further down. But that's interesting stuff. Search engines, because to me, my little video has 90 views or something. And when you do type in ISS interview to YouTube, yesterday it was the Sea Oddity is a channel. He made a video that he put me in up there. His was third on the first page. His was the third video and mine was the fourth video. And so above that was 2 NASA interviews, but who's doing that? Because I love it. I don't know who's doing it, but however it happens, that's awesome.
Yeah. No, that is good. I had the opportunity to meet Mad Mike Hughes, and I had my reservations because I didn't think this whole launching yourself into a rocket and going up 2,000 feet is going to prove anything. We know that. But he's not responsible for that mainstream narrative. It's the mainstream that took his story and turned it into a flat Earth joke.
I think he's the guy that likes rockets. You know what I
Sorry,
mean?
say again?
I said I think he's a guy that likes rockets and wanted like a stuntman guy almost. And that, like you said, the media kind of just took that and twisted that all up, I think.
Oh, completely twisted it. And I had the opportunity to talk with him for about half an hour. And I can honestly say, hand on my heart, what a lovely, honest, sincere, misunderstood man he is. He's just got a passion for the truth. He obviously has a passion for engineering. He's a very clever guy to make that whole thing. You've got to have some skills and some intelligence to do that. But what the media did, they twisted it and said this crazy flat earther is launching himself up 2,000 feet to see if he can see the curve. We all know that's ridiculous. And I had my reservations about meeting him because I thought, well, you were typing in flat earth, man. You should be seeing me, not this joke, But of course, he's not responsible for any of that. And he was at the conference and he's just as passionate as all of us when it comes to this subject. It's just how the media have spun it. And of course, when you search for flat earth man, which should be me, you're seeing these mainstream media hit pieces on a guy that's a really lovely man, clearly passionate about the message, very intelligent, and he's being misrepresented. And what a shame.
And has more courage than me, because I don't know if I could ever press the button to go launch up 2,000 feet in a rocket.
Absolutely. The guy's got balls. He really has. I mean, who would seriously build a rocket and put themselves in it and press the button and shoot? Who would do that? He would. You have to,
Mad Mike.
Take it out. Crazy. Amen.
I actually got to shake his hand too and say hi to him briefly, but I think a lot, like someone was saying about empathetic or empathizing. Like, I think there is something to, like, even in myself in the last few years, I've noticed that I can read people a lot better than just first glance or whatever. I can read people a lot better than I used to be able to. And you can tell that he's a special guy. He's a nice guy. You just tell by
He's
talking to him
very,
for 2
very
minutes.
intelligent. He's actually going through a lot of legal battles at the moment, and he's going down the avenue of the private international law route and the straw man and the birth certificate and all of that kind of thing, which I've been down that road myself. And we had a long conversation about private international law and, you know, the kind of the powers that be that he's facing and everything. And he looks exhausted from it. And that was my experience about, you know, going through this whole charade, which is the so-called justice system. And he's going through a very similar thing. So we sort of traded blows on, you know, what he's doing, and it's zapping all of his energy away. You know, he's been caught up in this paperwork and trying to fight these judges and barristers and solicitors because he knows, you know, the real true side of it, which is, you know, all to do with your birth certificate and slavery and it all being put on the stock market and you're being traded as a commodity. He knows all of that, and he's fighting with these barristers, and he's literally spending all of his time, you know, getting tied up in legal paperwork, and it's taking his power away from his love and his passion, which is clearly engineering and you know, rocket science, if you like. So I said to him, dude, just leave that alone. Even if you have to lose a load of money, leave that crap alone. You will never win against these, you know, the justice system. There is no such thing as far as I'm concerned. You're fighting a losing battle. So I said, I've been through it, which I have. And just let them, you know, let them take away, just let them do their thing and just concentrate on what you're good at, because it's taking your power away, which is exactly what the justice system is designed for, sadly. And he's being a victim of it right now.
Yeah, that's something we kind of, like we look, at least me, I looked at that whole thing and I'm just like, wow, what a mess. Like I'm completely away from that in my mind. I just don't understand that anymore, even any of it. The whole system is messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
No, go. You chip in, Karen. Go for it.
I was just saying it's ugly. It's so ugly.
It's
hellish realm.
evil.
It is.
Evil is really what it is. And I mean, again, going back to like Bible stuff, and there's this idea that we all kind of have in the world of like Christians or religion or the church or whatever. And what I'm reading in my Bible is saying that the churches, like the one that I used to go to, you know, growing up, or these churches, they do not believe what's in this book. And that's, I mean, that's a huge part of flat earth. Just like another aspect of it is the biblical cosmology and just the way that the Bible, the stars are going to fall to the ground. These kind of things don't happen when the stars are bigger than the earth. And when, you know what I mean? Like all this, the lies we're being told. So to me, it's just, it's truth being revealed, and we get to be in on it. I love it.
We've got front row seats, man.
Big time.
Yeah, because in front of you was the VIP people, weren't they, Alex, on the night?
Sorry, Karen, were you talking to me? Sorry.
Yeah, and when you were performing, the VIP people were sitting in the front rows, weren't they?
You know what the funny thing was? I didn't realise myself that I was a VIP, right? And there was a VIP dinner. And so, we'll go to this VIP dinner. And we were looking, me and like Mike, who's sitting here, and my wife, we're looking for places to sit. And what I didn't realise, there was an entire table allocated just for me. It had a big thing on it that said Flat Earth Man, and I was the VIP at the table. And everybody, it was just, yeah, that was one of the things that was a little bit hard to swallow. You know, how people see me as this, I can't even say the word VIP or star or whatever. It just
you're like, to the people that are there, they're in love with truth. So you're like the star. You know what I'm saying? Like that, for the people at a like a flat earth conference like that, think of how many people are like excited by just seeing the truth being spread in a way that they couldn't do it themselves.
Yeah.
Like when I see you singing, I'm like, yes, this guy's awesome. You know, just people are hearing it. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It was just a lot to process, because as I said before, you know, I'm just making music in a little room here in my little studio, and then I turn up in the States and everyone's like, Flat Earth Man, Flat Earth Man, Flat Earth Man. It's like, whoa. And I've got my own VIP table and it's just, yeah, a lot to process. Very, 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 very strange.
Stuff that you don't
But
expect.
Oh, completely. If anything, it's spurred me on more to do more music. I'm going to take a break for a while, but you know, seeing how much did the music and the videos, because like you say, it's something for people to relate to. Not a lot of people can go through hours and hours of text and documents, but people can relate to a 5-minute video. And I'd never really seen how much that resonated with people until I got there. So if anything, it definitely spurred me on to do more of what I'm doing. But oh man.
Well, you got my friends saying space is fake. So stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like anybody that hears the song, like any of those songs, it sticks in their head, especially since they're like, this dude's exposing a bunch of lies with this song. How is this possible? And it's hilarious at the same time, important, very important.
Yeah. That's why the songs have been quite carefully crafted, actually, because the choruses are always the point that I want to get across. So it's been carefully molded in that way. If you look at some of the titles, one of my songs is called No Photographs of Earth, and that's the chorus. Ain't no photographs of Earth, somebody tell me why. There's track number 3 or whatever. There's no don't believe in gravity. Don't believe in. So those points are being pushed across in the chorus, or space is fake, or do you still believe we went to the moon? Every chorus is just questioning a particular point, a bullet point that is all related to flat Earth. So they've been carefully crafted that way. And it's like my version of mind control. It's sowing the seed, and people are unconsciously walking around going, don't believe in gravity. So I'm basically taking their formula and their model of mind control and using it against them, if you like.
That's it, but it's all in righteousness that you're doing it. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not the way that they end up doing it is not for anything good, but everything you're doing is for good. So
yeah, there is that. So yeah, I take great pride in that, and great comfort in that. And when you look at the mainstream music itself, you know, and we start talking about the frequencies that they're using, you know, if you ever research the 432 hertz versus 440 hertz, yeah, can't believe. So all my music is in 432 hertz as well. So it's a resonant frequency as well. So everything I am doing, I believe, I'm sure it feels good, and it does feel righteous, and I feel like I'm on a path and I've got a purpose. So, you know, long may it continue.
I would say in like my normal way of looking at it is I would say you're being obedient to what God put on your heart, a calling that God put on your heart. That's what I say. Yeah,
I do feel it is a calling. Absolutely. I can't at the moment. I mean, never say never. I can't associate it with a particular religion or whatever, but never say never. If you say to me now, you're going to be a born again Christian 2 years time, I'll say you're absolutely crazy. But if you'd have said to me 2 years ago, you'll be a flat earther and performing at the Flat Earth International Conference in 2 years time, I would have said you're crazy. So I'm always open.
What about if someone said that you'd be a flat earther, preaching or singing flat earth? And what if that was God's idea of a born again Christian? That's all I'm saying. I'm saying the world has a label, and the world's label is wrong. Like,
okay, very good point. If we don't put a label on it, if we don't put a religious label on it, well, I'm fine with it. I do feel like I have a calling. I do feel like I have a purpose. I do feel like I've changed in many ways in the last 2 years. And I feel that's very spiritual, energetic, vibrationally speaking. If that's the way I'm to interpret that as, you know, God's work or whatever, so be it. Yeah, but I guess I have a problem with people putting labels on what it is. You know, if a Muslim came up to me and said, "Oh, you're doing the work of Muhammad" or whatever, I would have a problem with that.
You'd say, "No, it's not." You'd say, "I'm doing the work that I'm inspired to do," is what you'd say, right? You'd say, "I'm doing what I feel is right," and so I wouldn't argue with you.
If that is holy work, if that is holy inspired or God inspired, then so be it. I'll take it. Then I'm very, very privileged to be in this position. Putting a label on it,
it ruins it to put a label on it, to say, oh, this group of people here is trying to say that I'm like them, and you're like, I might not be like them. You know, I'm just doing what I'm doing. Well, what I'm trying to point out is that the God that whatever we want to call it, the force or the power that created this and that makes our hearts beat and everything continue on, that power, that God is the one I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the one that's in the church.
And that's what I resonate with that completely 100%. It's when people, as we said, it's when people start putting a label on it, and you're doing this group of people, you're doing that. No, I'm not. I'm an individual that feels inspired, be that godly inspired or whatever. But I don't like to associate myself with groups of religions or particular sects of people or whatever. I'm me. I'm doing what I'm doing, and there's something going on with me in the last couple of years. Different person, different persona, different mindset, different everything. I guess
awesome.
The problem is when you put the label on it and say, right, you must be a Muslim, you must be a Christian,
that
you must
ruins
be Catholic.
it.
It ruins it for me, and that's where I'm at the moment, and that's all I can say. I guess I'm just an individual that doesn't want to be pigeonholed, if you like.
Yep. You're doing your thing. You're and I totally understand that and can agree with that, because if you go to a church that says that, like, if a lot of these churches, they're fighting against flat earth, they're like, no, you're trying to ruin Christianity. We're like, we're not talking about Christianity, we're talking about the Bible, just this book. Like, that's the only thing that I believe is inspired by God. Is I do believe that word of God is inspired by God, but that's a belief of mine. But as far as what I see happening, like when I go to a conference like that, I see people serving the Lord. That's what I see.
Yeah.
Doing his will, doing what he said. He said, I'm going to send you my spirit, and I'm going to show you, in so many words, I'm going to show you truth. He said, and you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. I'm like, that's what happened to me.
Yeah. Well, that's a line in one of my songs, the truth will set you free. I resonate with that. I completely hear you. I guess we're all on our own path. But we're all here for the greater good at the end of the day, and whatever form that takes. Then so be it.
None of us know.
Yeah, none of us know. Exactly. None of us really know. If I'm doing God's work, I will say hallelujah. Fantastic. Yeah, but exactly. What God means to me may not mean the same as what God means to you. But what we are seeing, we can all agree on, is everybody is awakening and everybody is doing their bit. We can all agree on that, and there's definitely a mindset change in the masses. We can all agree on that. Is that God?
Yep.
Well, that's open to interpretation, isn't it?
Yep, it's a belief either way. If you say, "Oh, that's not God," or "That is God," or what, like, really, what we're doing is we're just seeing all the results in ourselves, and we're seeing all the results in other people. Like when we do hangouts and things like this, and we see something happening, so we have this evidence of this, and to define exactly what it is, that's up to each one of us, I think,
Absolutely. Yeah. Well said. Absolutely. Okay, Karen, time for you to jump in here.
Maybe she stepped away, but no,
I'm here.
Oh, there she is.
Right back on. Sorry. Yeah, I think flat Earth, it just somehow makes you think differently, and then you're going to make different choices, aren't you?
Yeah, I think that's an understatement. Like, everything in my life changed. My outlook on things, the way I see things, and the way that I react to things, the way that I react to other people, the way just my outlook each day is different, and in a positive way. So it's been, obviously we have this stuff coming at us with all the people that really don't like it, but that isn't even affect me being inspired to preach the truth. Do you know what I mean? Like, that, I don't care what other people are saying. It doesn't matter. It's important to me that other people learn this, that we're being lied to.
Well, I think we're in something quite supernatural, and we don't know everything yet or understand everything. I just think you have to remain open. And when you remain open, you're not so worried about the shape right now. You're not so worried about all these other things, because you know that the purpose or where we're going is the most important thing as people, as consciousness, as caring, as having conferences, meeting up with flat earthers, talking about it, spreading the word. Just, if everybody else thinks like that, it's Patricia there. Just saying, what does Patricia feel? Patricia,
P to the A to the T to the R to the... Oh, how do you spell Patricia? I to the C to the I to the A. Patricia.
Is that food there then? It's very early for him. When he came on the hangout, it was 8 o'clock in the morning for him.
Yeah, I know. I mean, oh, Christ.
Do you know something, Alex? We've been going for nearly 3 hours.
Have we?
Can you believe that?
My God. I feel like I've been on like an hour.
Fast. Time goes fast.
quickly. There you go. Time flies when you're having fun. Okay, well, you want to wrap up?
Well, what do you think then? We've been going for quite enough for a hangout, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we've said some really, really good. We've had a really good conversation. We made some really good points. We've talked about a lot of things. I
enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, so did I, Joe. Yeah, so did I.
Wicked. Hey, everybody in the chat room. Mwah! Thank you for being there on this. Thank you to DITRH who popped on. Thank you to our Patricia and Alex. And
thank you to everyone in the chat. See you again next time. God bless.
Yeah, it's been a really great hangout, and we'll say goodbye off air, but goodbye on air. Thank you very much, everybody. Back tomorrow with David G, Indigo Channel. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.